red button should be going here. Uh-oh, I am lagging on mine, and I restarted beforehand.
Oh boy.
Oh, red button's up. We should be live. What's happening, Fish and Friends? Oh, welcome to another episode. It is me down on the bottom because if Dizzle's on the bottom, he gets all pissed off because he's, when we share and stuff. So we'll lead off with Dizzle up there, the man of the hour, catching the big fish today. Dizzle, what's happening?
Not much, man. I couldn't tell if you were shocked by the what I had actually caught that on.
I was shocked. Yes, that was my shocking email back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
all right, I didn't hear. What did you catch it on?
Swim jig. Black and blue swim jig with
would have never guessed it. When's the last time that you threw a swim jig?
Oh, I throw it all the time.
No, not you. Dizzle.
Oh, him. Sorry.
I don't know the last time I've watched you throw a swim jig with vengeance.
I mean, you must not be paying attention too much. I usually have one tied on.
Yeah, well, I don't see you catching much on a swim jig.
No.
Basically, I'm saying
I mean,
that's
miss,
fine
really.
that you caught it on that, but that would have not been in my first 5 guesses of what you caught it on. How's that?
And it was not your not your traditional method of swim jigging. It was a lot of pop, yo-yo, loop-de-doop-de, whatever you want to call it.
You two guys yo-yoing. Dizzle yo-yoing a finesse jig has absolutely smashed me in the face. And Brando yo-yoing a Texas rig. Both you get that's not. I'm not talking about like stroking a jig, like a hard jig stroke, like is kind of there's a time and place for it, but both you guys kind of go back and forth with that. Maybe I need to play with it more. I'm in the corner of like slow hops versus drag. Is like that's my jig game. Like, yep, slow hops, nothing, reel it in, flip it in again. Then if like I'm finesse jigging, like slow hop to drag. So maybe I fish my jigs too slow. Maybe I'm not aggressive enough.
So the crazy thing is the body of water that I fished today, those fish love anything yo-yoed. Yo-yoed lipless out there. I've done the best yo-yoing a finesse jig there, yo-yoing the swim jig today. I mean,
you've kicked my absolute ass in at that place yo-yoing a finesse jig.
Nice.
Around grass, where I'm like, he's like, I'm yo-yoing a finesse jig around grass. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. He's like, I've caught 10. I'm like, well, I'm the idiot.
Huge giant pockets that you can see like holes in the grass mats.
That's up here when you're fishing grass, like specifically milfoil, sometimes coontail. Like if you can find those holes, and exactly, pitch right in a hole, let it drop, bounce it, and that's usually a lot of guys like when they find those holes. They mark them, and what's funny is year after year, some of the same holes are there.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. They don't stay though, do they? That's interesting.
So what's funny is there's a couple tournaments
because it's so deep of a hole that the vegetation can't grow there, and it grows around the sides.
No, it's just a hard spot. Like it's just a area where it's
like rocky or something,
rock or some sand or some gravel. It just prevents grass from growing there.
Okay.
But the fun part is you get like tribal knowledge about like where some of these nice big holes are in grass patches, and you mark it. And then a lot of those guys just go back to those waypoints. Like, as I fish tournaments, and sometimes it's a speed run to get to some of these like better spots where there's holes in the grass. And like, there's literally some guys that can go to these, like the holes in the grass, throw a Senko in there and just call their shot. Like, all right, 3-pounder. I'm going to pull 2 of them out of here. And first one to get to that spot is throw that Senko, let it sit there and just wait. So like, those little sneaky chunks of like open area in those grass lines are like, can be things you don't talk about. You tuck it away. You don't, because sometimes Debo too. Sometimes those holes are actually like height. Like there's
a hump. Yeah, it's not necessarily a hole. It's a hump. Yeah.
Yeah, or just whatever.
Hump and hole, grass, stroking. Yeah, we got it all covered tonight. Hey, listen, Iowa won. It's been a good day. It was.
Oh, let's not talk.
They played at Wrigley. Yeah, they played at Wrigley, and it was basically a baseball score. So.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Well, we beat you guys last week, so the Gophers obviously beat.
No, you didn't. That was bull. You didn't beat us.
That guy's an idiot. That kick returner knows you don't say or do anything, you're gonna get that's a dead ball automatically. Like any person who plays special teams knows that was a totally legitimate call.
You can point. There was nothing above his head for a fair. You can point.
No, he was going like this.
Oh my
No, you guys can make.
That's
an
usually
argument.
like
You
Hold
guys
on.
can
stay
make
away
all the
motion.
argument.
All right, there we go. The good thing is I can mute Punch and
You can do all the mental gymnastics.
oh, he unmuted. Dang it.
You can do all of the mental gymnastics you want. That was a completely 100% accurate call.
Wasn't a fair catch, but anyway, yeah, well, that's fine.
No, it was. You are right. It was not a fair catch. That is absolutely
it was an illegal.
true.
Yeah, it was an invalid fair catch.
He
I
made
know.
the
I
ball
know.
dead
I
by his
know.
motions. It's a dead ball.
That's fine. We'll give you the win. You guys needed it. It's fine. Yeah, we'll give you the win.
But we lost to the Illini today.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we had a 6-point lead with a minute left, and we lost.
Oh, dude, I thought they won. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was watching till like the last 4 minutes. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna be head of the West. Ooh, man, it'll be interesting. I love it. I'm not one of these guys that'll be a complete prick over college football. The funny thing that you think about college athletics and the people that live, breathe, eat college football and get this pissed off, it's like, dude, I'm literally twice the age of these guys now. These are 18, 20-year-old kids. You know, and people out here like sending death threats and stuff, like get a fucking life.
But it's the thing we have in common though, both our programs kind of suck.
Yeah, that's true. We're definitely special teams and defensive university right now.
We're doormats in the Big Ten for the better team.
Yeah, it's rough. But okay, so Punch, you just got back from the DC. Have you done any fishing lately? A couple weekends ago I saw you catch some smallies with somebody. If that was your dad or
I had a bunch of people out. So the last couple of weeks, the smallmouth fishing in Northwest Wisconsin has been on fire.
And people are talking. I am pinning. If you have questions or comments about tackle storage, Punch is going to help us out from a boat perspective. I've got a bunch of stuff here. Dizzle can give his take too.
I got props. I brought props.
Perfect. I brought props as well. So get your questions in. I've pegged 3 or 2, I guess, start already. But go ahead, Punch. Sorry, I want to get that in real quick because people are kind of chatting and.
Yeah, so like we're in Minnesota right now. We're on the cusp of winter. Fall is really getting towards the end of fall, so that the water temps are getting down in the low 50s, high 40s, and the smallmouth bite in like Northwest Wisconsin and like the middle Minnesota is like really good right now. So I was out last weekend, and there's this particular lake I fish that in the summer is not. It's actually a dammed up impoundment of a very long. It's called the Namakagon River. Anyway, point is. All the fish from the Namakagon River move down into this one section because it's their wintering area. It's got the deepest water. So it turns into like Grand Central Station for smallmouth in the last month before the ice up. So if you get into this lake and you get on the right spots, there's like 40, 50 fish schools. And if you pull up on the right spot and you make the right cast, like you can literally catch 14, 15, 16 smallmouth. That's one spot lock.
That's the interesting thing. Yeah, I've seen with, like watching those guys fish, was it St. Clair and whatever that is, like where they'll find a rock pile and the number of smallmouth bunched up on those, like when you have them, like a, the hell do you call it? Not a spot, save thing.
Yeah.
Waypoint.
There you go. Good Lord. Yeah. You have a waypoint or, these people finding rock piles. Yeah. I am totally not like, offshore, because you get up in these places like St. Clair and these other places and you're out, like it's like an ocean deal. You don't have bank anywhere around you. You're clear out. And that's definitely not the way I grew up fishing. So that always interests me. We talk about people, if you could go fishing with someone, that's definitely a thing I would like to do, is like that offshore. And I don't know.
What's interesting about the smallmouth where we were fishing is they were shallow. So like they were hanging out. There's some shallow sand flats where the crayfish hung out, and they were like ganging up on like these very specific areas. Yeah, they're ganging up on these very specific areas that had crayfish still. And so if you threw anything that looked like a crayfish up onto these shallow sand areas, it didn't take long for you just throw it up there. I had a spot where I was literally casting a Ned rig. Like I was just using a green pumpkin TRD tickler, just nothing special, throwing it up into the one spot, letting it sit there. And I would literally just shake my rod. I was just going like this. And I would just wait. And sure enough, someone grab it and swim out of it. Like those smallmouth, it just drove them nuts because they're in groups. And they're like, I can't let this other guy go get this. You know what I mean? So they get competitive. And so you just shook it long enough to make one of them get some FOMO, you know what I mean? And
get them fired up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I was fishing that. I fished the same area for 3 straight days, and I went to basically 6 spots, and I just whichever spot was the good spot that day, we would just hang out there and just whack them for a while. And then you could back off the spot for a couple hours, go hit a few more, and then come back and just catch them all over again. Like they forget pretty quick.
Yeah, smallies are like those kind of fish where you can like, even if you put a hook in them, they're not shy like a largemouth. That's like once you put a hook in a largemouth, they're pretty much done for. They're not going to bite anytime soon.
Smallmouth schools can get weird because like if you catch a few, sometimes they can all lockjaw. So you see a lot of guys boxing smallmouth this late in the season, especially if it's a big fish. So the first couple they catch, they'll throw them in the box in the live well, not to put them back into the school, because that there's like some, I don't know why, but there's like this like old wives' tale that like re-releasing some of like the alpha fish out of a school back into the school will make the school kind of shut off. And so people get paranoid about that, and they box up like their first couple fish just to keep the school going.
Oh, that just reminds me real quick.
Bad luck to me. So
off the rails topic. Did you see the walleye guy that was shoving weights and stuff?
Yeah, he made
his fish?
Yeah,
he got busted for having all these deer.
Crap.
I didn't look into the details.
Poaching deer, and there was something else that came up too.
Poaching deer out of season. No tags. He was like, he had mounts.
Oh yeah, using other people's tags, shooting deer, and just like, hunting at night, I think, was another thing he had on his docket. Piece of crap, dude.
He's
piece of crap.
Crazy.
Okay, let's get into tackle storage. I did shoot, so I'm zipping through. I've got 5-starred fishing with Gramps lurking in here. I don't know if he'll join or not, but I did send him an invite to be our kayak aficionado, which I'll have to get some kayak nerds on, because I think next year, Dizzle, I think the John Moat might be sold. Yeah. Kayak being purchased, and I think we're gonna have to get you into kayak too. So yeah. Hey,
do you guys both have kayaks, or just nobody has kayaks?
I just have a John boat. I took it out once. I've got my neighbors basically have a fucking used car lot, and there's 75,000 cars parked, so I can't even get my boat out or backed in. I had it out once this year, and I'm like, this is a waste.
Ooh, we're gonna talk. Someone said we're gonna talk spinnerbait storage. Sorry to interrupt you. Someone just said, I have a really cool. I've got
that one pegged. Let's start with that, because I've got one here for somebody said swim jig. I thought I saved a spinnerbait. Let's start with that, because that is a really good one to go to, because but I've got some of the old stuff. Was that a new one you just saw?
I just sent it to you in the private chat. It was like 748.
Someone did I miss
Austin Tackle? Yep.
Because that's a pretty easy one to tack. Like that's a pretty.
I've got a couple things for that really. I couldn't find my smaller one, but where the hell are you, Lost in Tackle? 748, right? What's going on here? Can't find you. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Punch, start us off. You got something there. I'm trying to find them.
Apparently I'm gonna wedge spinnerbaits in the same camp as buzzbaits and chatterbaits, because it's bladed something storage, right? So if you got Bass Mafia came out with these things called the Bud Bag. Now this is not a recommendation. I'm gonna tell you what sucks about these. So these are really expensive. I think these are like $40. The idea is kind of cool, right? So it's everything Bass Mafia is stupid expensive, right? So inside here you got these pouches, individual pouches. I use this one for my chatterbaits. You can fit multiple chatterbaits in each one of these pouches. So each one I probably have like 4. So these are like all just regular jackhammers or whatever. So I got like 2 sleeves of 3/8 and then a couple sleeves of half. So the downside of this is it only comes with 1, 2, 3, 4. So it only comes with 5 compartment, like 5 sleeves, which is not that much. You could fill this up pretty quick, right? And the individual compartments aren't super wide. So if you got like bigger spinner baits, like say it's 3/4 or 1 ounces or something like that, you know what I mean? With like big willow blades or whatever, it's not the best. So it's really good for chatterbaits because these are like really narrow and you can stick a ton of chatterbaits in each slot, right? So for chatterbaits, yeah, this thing's all right. But for like tons of spinnerbaits, this thing sucks. And it's overpriced. So I say do not buy.
Yeah, and I will say, so starting out old school, this is probably anybody that stored spinner baits. This was from my super old, like 1990 tackle
Oh,
box.
everybody's had one of those.
Everybody's had one of these. Do they work? Absolutely. Or if you're on a boat, do they work? Absolutely. My dad still has multiple of these. Once you get into a kayak and bank fishing, they're not the best. But that's an old man's right there. Why don't more people do that like man's?
Oh yeah, the closed eye. I know, that's great. So I'm 43 and I bought one of those when I was 15. So that's how long those have been around.
Yeah, I've had this for.
I was 15. I had one of those.
I do have to say,
made the
I've
USA,
been tempted.
Though.
I've been tempted multiple times to throw all of it out of the window, like hands down, the entire box, all the spinner baits, the whole 9, because it was in the back seat of my truck. Just every little bump, ching, 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 ching. They don't hold them securely.
No, they fly around.
And
they also can rust. Like rust can pass from thing to thing in those things.
Never put it. Yeah, any hooked bait, single, treble, always leave them out to let them dry before you put them back in. Anybody, even, and I'm going to get into that here once we hit the planos. But I will say the first, what should I say, successful bank angling way to hide spinner baits. So bank angling. Now remember, we're not talking about boat where I can have 7,000 spinner baits, in one thing. As a bank angler, where I'm trying to shuffle stuff. So if you've got like lipless, jerk bait, blah, 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 whatever, spinner baits in one of these. So when you go to look at your planos, look at the ones that have the large side profile. This is a 3600 size, and I can get multiple. I mean, I can get a bunch in here. So if you're traveling with a backpack or a shoulder bag, and for bank angling, backpack hands down best. I've tried the shoulder bags, where you can fit like 4 or 5 3700s in. Backpack, hands down the best to walk around and fish in it. But this was the first one where I was like, this is really good. I've got another option for if you're traveling like with a big backpack. Well, I'll let you guys go to see if you have any other options. But if you're traveling kind of light, this is what I would recommend. And this is for buzz baits. You can do chatter baits, spinner baits, anything in this big side pocket. You can throw jigs, that kind of stuff over here.
I at one point in time,
5 to 20, 3600 plano. Waterproof.
It's kind of like that. I'm trying to find one online right now, but I can't for the life of me. I think it was a Falcon. It was like almost like a sunglasses case, so like a hard cover sunglasses case. You could fit, maybe 20 spinner baits in there. I've liked that one just for like something quick, easy. If I know I want to take these, 4 or 5, and then I could throw buzz baits in there too, and really anything like that. I was looking for it, but I can't find it for the life of me.
Big Malone, good point. Dizzle actually has one. I think you got it at Harbor Freight. My stuff shifted here.
So I gotta show you guys this bag. This is the ultimate. This is literally the best bag I've ever found for spinner baits, buzz baits, chatter baits. It's from Academy. Have you guys are you guys familiar with Academy's like H2O stuff?
Yeah, they don't. There's no academies around us, but yeah, I've seen.
Neither here, but I found this online. So this is like they called this the ring binder bag. The problem is I'm pretty sure this is off of their website right now, but their H2O stuff comes back and forth. So check this out. This thing was like when this came out, this thing was I want to say about $10. It was under $20 for this thing. But check this out. So I was like the Bass Mafia things like $40 and comes with 5 sleeves. This thing comes with like all of the sleeves. This comes with tons of them. Like I'm not even using them all. There's a million sleeves in this thing, and you can fit Boku buzz baits and spinner baits in this thing. So I got them I keep the packages so I know what the brands are. You know what I mean? And you can fit so many freaking spinner baits and buzz baits and anything bladed in this stupid bag. And it's it was under $20. It takes up no room in your boat or whatever. And it also came with it's got a little pouch on the back, and then it's got another pouch on the front. You can put a little tackle box in here. I mean, this thing is storage on top of storage on top of storage, under $20, and it's sick for if you have a ton of spinnerbaits and buzzbaits, this thing can fit all of them. Like this is better than anything Bass Mafia has ever made. And it's a house brand from Academy, and it's like $20.
Yeah, if you're a '90s kid like us, if you've got the old CD storage books, just take those and put your spinnerbaits in those instead.
My shoulder hurt just hearing that or thinking about those books.
But the thing that sucks though is I had a link for this and it's dead now. So I don't know if this got discontinued. This was alive last year. I don't know if they got rid of this or they Academy's always rebranding and redoing their stuff. So if anyone knows what the newer version of this is, this thing is
I want to
sick.
say I got something similar when I had a subscription to Bassmaster magazine, smaller but similar to it, not nearly as big.
So I will say, Bassing with Big Malone did say I've got like a box he got from Walmart. This is one Dizzle. I don't know if you got this from Harbor Freight or where, but this is another great example of that. So it's got the gasket. It's waterproof. Yeah. This one has he gave me back my BX Brat, a mosquito thing. I don't know what this deal was. I never tried it. And then, hey, this was a custom DEBO custom pearl right there. It's one of the old Bill Lewis's, but
I think I actually
got Gramps in the house too. Gramps, are you lurking down there? Hey, feller.
Yeah, I am. Thanks for tossing me in here. I saw you guys were chatting, and I was like, "Ooh, cool subject."
We might have Brendan in here too, so we'll see.
That box you had, that waterproof box, I have 2 of those in my boat, and I use them for gloves because you want to keep your gloves dry all the time. So I have a bunch of gloves and bibs, and that's also where I keep all my fuses because I don't want fuses obviously to get wet. Like I keep those boxes
for your fireworks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so like those waterproof boxes are sweet. You got to have those in your boat.
Yeah, they were. I want to say that was Walmart actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
one other thing real quick before we move on.
Are on Amazon.
I will say for spinnerbait, so this is a big one. Don't look at this one, but these Tackle Warehouse, Bass Mafia, essentially it's the Bass Mafia ones. This is the first ones Dizzle and I had. Guggen's got some. Dizzle only uses the Guggen ones now. Hashtag sponsored by Guggen, basically. But they're like, I don't know, 9 by 4 inches or whatever. Like it's a small one of these. And I just crammed a bunch of spinnerbaits in them and you can lay them flat. Yeah. And in like my bigger tackle bag, I'll take a small one of these with spinnerbaits because it's collapsed. You can just throw it in the front pocket. There's also a Spro one. Actually, that's the one I'm using now. I'll share here. And then I'll let whoever else talk while I'm bringing this up.
Real quick, Debo, that's funny that you say I only use the
right there. Basically ones. That. Yes. It's basically one of those. A small one like that. It's the Spro one I got for free.
Everyone made. Yeah. I think honestly, I think one company makes all those things and they just slap it.
I do like this one a little bit better because I mean, first of all, the zipper on it is hecka nice. And the material is a lot thicker than
same with the Spro one. The Spro one's actually reinforced with like nylon. That's what I was going to say. The Monster Bass ones, when they did the bags, suck. 6th Sense ones suck as well.
I don't mind them for soft plastics.
Well, it's like this felt.
Yeah.
Like sewed into the plastic and it doesn't work. They suck. The Monster Bass ones sucked. The 6th Sense ones sucked. I didn't like them. Go with the Bass Mafia or the like Spro or that Dial one.
Something I do like
the thicker, heavier plastic.
What was it? The Tackle Warehouse ones, don't those have a kind of like a Ziploc seal and a zipper? Both?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yep, I never use them both, but that's super nice.
Yes, they've got like the seal here, your Ziploc plus the actual zipper. So, yeah, for just carrying extra stuff like in your truck, I'm a huge proponent of, even as a bank angler, have on my bag and then carrying extra stuff in my truck so I can go back and switch. I think works really well. How about for kayaks? What have you done for kayak spinnerbait, buzzbait storage, Gramps?
Well, for me, because we keep it more or less simple. And the funny thing is, I literally shot a video today talking about this very subject, what's in my kayak crate. And most of the time we spend our pre-fishing time kind of dial in what we're going to be doing, or if we're just out fishing for whatever, you carry simple staples. You're not trying to carry everything that you own. Because on a kayak, you got limited amount of space and whatever. So we have, kayak crates. And
Yeah, Dizzle did that with marker. Aussie Cat. He changed that with marker.
Yeah, I swing this around just because this is how I kind of shot the video.
Dang, hold on. Okay, here we go. Your full screen, Gramps.
So for like spinner baits and whatnot, you know, I kind of keep it simple. And
That's what I
just have
showed
this
too.
box
I love
with a
those.
couple of different compartments.
Yep, the big compartment on the side.
Yep. So buzz baits, spinner baits, these are all Mega Bass stuff over here that, you know, everybody got me kind of hooked on with those. Then you see, you know, Mag Draft and
the Jamaica Boas.
You know, some
Pun,
goodies
was that
like
pun
that.
intended, getting hooked on those, Gramps?
Oh, dude, it's like once some of the folks started turning me on to some of the Mega Bass stuff, because you watch Punch, and it's not long before you start spending money. It's not hard. It's not hard to do once you start, you know, kind of finding other higher quality stuff around. So like the Mega Bass SV3 spinner baits, it's like in the first time I basically fished with the Mega Bass Boa buzz baits. I mean, I caught like a 5-pounder. And it's not hard to become convinced that, oh, okay, these things do a really good job at catching fish. But, you know, I kind of find containers that match up with kind of what my needs are. You know, I could probably do a little better job if I got some of the Plano 3600s that let you kind of build your own box. But, oh, yeah, most definitely. I bet I've got that one in a package out in the truck that I picked up.
Here's a good one too, Gramps, since we've got you on. Use Gramps' code over at American Legacy. They do have, if you're looking at the old Corrado K for 29 something bucks. Yeah, I just shared that. Tackle Talk shared that. If you're looking for a Corrado K, super solid reel, very similar to the M. There's small differences, but yeah, if you're looking for
I'm actually going to pick up
bucks,
the M on my way down to Gunnersville on Tuesday and do a comparison with that and the K, because I mean, you talk about good, say budget when you're talking Shimano Corrados, they're still all great.
120 bucks is still a deal. That's like getting an SLX XT and getting a Corrado for the same price. Yeah.
Yep.
So what else they have on sale? What else for the Black Friday sale? They have anything else cool?
So all the Legacy Elite members kind of already know all this stuff yet too, but sadly, I'm not even been paying attention because we have the big knucklehead thing coming up next weekend where all the YouTubers that are doing this stuff with KBF. So me, Chad Hoover, Gene Jensen, the two Burley guys, everybody are going down to Gunnersville, and we're having a big get together.
That'll be awesome, dude.
You know, it's going to be really awesome. And pretty much everybody who's in all of our streams are going to be down there. So Caro, Brendan, Mainstream Fishing, you know.
Oh, wow. I saw Rob's going down. Rob Harrison's going down.
And freaking Grand decides that she's going to come over in her pumpkin.
They're puppy doggies with witches' hats.
So she just, you know, has to come interrupt. But yeah. But Grand won't come around and be on this side of the camera because you're going to show us your jammies. You're gonna...
where they can see. I can't.
So Gramps,
ooh, fancy. Except for that candy corn crap, that stuff's disgusting.
You shut your mouth a little.
Gramps, like the Jamaica boas are cool, but they're so long. Like they cast kind of funny, and they do. If you make a big long cast with them, they tend to like pull to one side when you reel them in. I don't know. They don't totally go straight all the time. Kind of drives me nuts. A buzzbait I really like this year that I was playing with is, look at this thing. Have you guys ever heard of this guy? James Watson, his buzzbait, the Tackle HD,
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, but he's got a buzzbait. So look at the size difference. This is a half ounce, same, but like look at the
compact.
No, but yeah, it's hard to like. But yeah, it's like it's half the length.
Oh yeah,
right. But this thing has a Mondo badass hook, and the blade hits the lead, right? Whereas on the Mega Bass, the blade
it's like a Crocogator. Crocogators are
exactly, but the blade hits the little bead on this thing. Anyway, point is, I like this thing. I get tons of bites on this bad boy, and it comes through cover really good. Like if you're in really thick cover, this boa is kind of like a lot to get through the cover. Like, you know, big, long, a lot of shit hanging off the back. This thing goes through cover really slick, casts really well, and this thing gets bit too. But anyway, point is, I kind of actually like the little Watson buzzbait a little more. I actually
that's really slick. Yeah,
I probably throw this guy maybe a little more than the Jamaicas.
How about,
of course, for me, I start putting the buzz baits away when the grass starting to die, and that's when I'm picking up that little flappy frog and chucking it around everywhere.
I like the buzzbait in the start of summer, like when the grass really starts popping in the shallows.
Yep.
Like
How about
after
this?
spawn?
This is going to be a good transition. So everybody using swim jigs, and let's even put this with jigs. I've got a couple ways to store them. I'm sure you guys have some fun ways. What do you guys do for like your bigger single hook things that aren't spinnerbait, buzzbait, that type of stuff?
For jigs?
Yeah, Rob says he's pretty OCD and hates them not being organized, which is not my problem. Yeah, I figured that would come up.
The Plano Edge jig box is freaking awesome. This is literally such a good, like out of all the Plano Edge boxes, they're all kind of overpriced. This is probably my favorite because I got these all organized by I got them all organized by brand, by weight, and they stay in there. You can shake this thing, drop it, whatever. They don't fall out. This box, and they don't rust. I put wet stuff back in this thing and nothing rusts.
So that was one thing I wanted to touch on. So for you guys and gals that have gun cabinets, pew cabinets, you might know of the silica gel packets, which I thought was funny when Dizzle and I opened this not too long ago.
These have them built in these little things.
It's not anything special. Randy and I thought this was going to be something special in here. I broke one of these.
No, it's just packets.
It's silica gel packets. Go on Amazon. You can get like 100 of them for nothing and throw them in whatever sort of
you can change
waterproof box you have. Yeah. Whether it's Flambeau, Plano, doesn't matter. A lot of guys will throw them in like their gun safes to make sure it wicks up. Just make sure, I don't know what the time deal is on it, but you have to replace them. So think of a glass with water. So they're pulling moisture out of the air. So if you have a glass, it's pulling moisture out of the air until it gets to the top and it can't store any more moisture. It's done. Then stuff can rust. So people will replace those silica packets, let's say every 6 months, or I have no idea how much they can hold, but just keep that in mind with those, that you will at some time have to replace those, even on those Plano ones that come in a fancy little gray enclosed packet. Those do not last forever, but they do work. Gun safes, knife safes, anything like that, obviously tackle where you don't want moisture to get in.
Anything with metal, really.
That's actually a really good tip too. It's one of those things, maybe around Christmas time, you order some so you can put your stuff in the store over the winter. Then you're good for the next season too. Because most people probably just buy these boxes and say, "Oh, I'm good."
Oh, yeah, it's good forever. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you want to replace those.
Yeah, I haven't swapped any of these things out. I probably should.
I don't know how long they last too, so take that for a grain of salt.
No idea.
Do you do anything special to keep like your finesse jigs kind of still? Because mine always, when I would use one of those, because I tend to throw more finesse jigs than
these are all just regular flipping jigs. I got some. I have some finesse jigs in here, like these Z-Man ones that they fit pretty good.
Okay.
Punch, you should try the War Eagles. Actually, no, don't try the War Eagles. They're terrible. They're horrible. You should just send all those to me. I'll get rid of them. I'll properly dispose of them for you.
War Eagle finesse jigs or just War Eagle flipping jigs?
Finesse, heavy finesse.
Yeah, I pretty much went all Beast Coast once I started throwing those things, and they're so.
I've been throwing these cross-size Z-Man finesse jigs this year, and this goes great. Smallmouth love these things and largemouth. I did really. I always throw these on spinning rods.
Do you trim your skirts when you go smallie fishing?
Yeah, I mean, dude, Debo, Randy. I'm like you. I have to futz with my jigs all the time. Like I always got to do some little dumb modification. Like I'm always trimming.
It's in my head for some reason.
You can't not mess with your jigs.
Yeah, for some reason, if I know that primarily I'm going to catch a smallie or there's smallie in the places that I'm fishing, I'm gonna trim my jigs like way down.
What I do is I modify the guard more. So like I'll trim the guard down and then I'll cut half the strands out of it to make it really like light.
Shush, Patrick.
If I know I'm fishing smallmouth in open water, I just cut the weed guard completely off. Like I just get rid of it. There's no point.
A lot of people saying, "What's up, Gramps?" I'm way behind. I'm at 7:55. So, and Brendan, holy smokes, we got the Adams family whole thing going on here. There we go.
Hey, can I just say,
Brady Bunch.
My favorite
Brady Bunch. That's what I meant.
My favorite piece of any type of lure storage, 100% is a two-piecer, and it's this. It's a Sharpie and painter's tape. Because all of these plastic bags, instead of like writing on them, I'll throw a couple pieces of tape on there and write jig trailer, swim bait trailer, stuff like that. I even do that for I have a tote full of empty tackle boxes, like your tools, your wacky rig tools, your a whole bunch of everything. Just like not actually fishing lures, like label as much as I physically can.
I have a label maker just for labeling shit.
Yeah,
I have a
You
Dynamo.
guys are nerds.
So,
Dynamo thermal.
If we're talking
label
about tackle
maker.
bags, do any of you guys remember
Take a
these things?
drink.
Dude, you guys remember these bad boys?
Oh, you
Let's-
mean like this?
They got discontinued. Yes.
Is
Dude,
that like
I have
the Sixth
so
Sense?
many of
So
these.
much.
I have piles of these things because they are
What
so
is that?
awesome.
Is that a
These are the
golf
best.
shoe bag?
No, this is so they called this the speed bag for years.
Hey,
and
yeah.
years.
They got discontinued.
Yes.
I got
they
one here
killed them
too
off.
down here.
Dude,
I
I
can't
bought
see
like
your
10
face.
of these things, and I was hoping to find some more.
I've
Nope,
got
they,
two.
they,
I've
they
got
actually
two to talk
discontinued
about.
them years ago. These haven't been on the market for probably 2 or 3 years.
Oh, really?
man.
Oh yeah. So they
So somebody was asking me real quick about the Spro one with the mesh. It's a thicker, plus it's got like corded mesh through it. So far, I've
Mhm.
not had any issues with like hooks coming through it. But any of those like plastic ones, just make sure you get a good one that's like the real thick plastic
Mhm.
stuff. So far, the Bass Mafia have been good.
So, like,
Spro,
You
Dizzle
can
said the
see
Daiwa
it's
one.
not
Yeah.
really the other ones. What were they? The Sixth Sense and the Monster Bass.
the Sixth Sense, yeah. Unless Sixth Sense has changed them. Somebody else said they had good luck with theirs, but they were like, especially if they get really cold, they crack and they sucked. So
So I always took the Sharpie and just wrote on the top of the bags what's in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, same here. Look at us. We're all right. See this? Why they discontinue
Whoop, whoop.
these things? People,
I don't know,
obviously
dude,
bought
I
the
love
shit
them.
out of them.
the only problem,
These things are so perfect. Now, tip for the folks in the kayaks: if you've got a 16 by 16 black pack, you can fit 4 of these. You stack 2, and then you can also stack 6 Plano 3600s in there,
Nice.
and you've got a perfect. And you can actually lay a 3700 across the top, and your crate is perfect. But yeah, I'm with Punch, man. These bags are
Oh,
money.
sick. You know what's funny? I put these in my bass boat compartment, and you can lay them like bricks. Like you can have like I have like 3 across, and then put 3 more on top. So like you can like layer these things on top of each other,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is awesome.
It's awesome.
Is there
Ed
like
brought this
padding
up.
in the sides?
No,
or
they're
is it-
they're completely flat. They have a little bit of there's a little bit of cardboard to like give
Okay.
it some rigidity, but no, when they're empty, they're just flat.
But you
and that's
can
primarily
you
what,
can
just
pack
soft
those
plastic
things
or
full.
what?
Oh yeah, you can fit a shit ton of plastics in there.
Yeah.
Ed,
Nice.
real quick, I will say Ed and somebody else asked about using freezer bags like to store your plastics. Absolutely, a lot of pros do that in the boat. It's just they wear down quicker.
Yep.
I don't know that
They-
there's like a
they
perfect
can
method.
deteriorate as well.
Yeah,
like
like
they
the
can.
seams break easier, but absolutely, pros do it all
Yeah.
the time. You certainly can do that. Yep.
I've
nothing
had
wrong with that
issues
at all.
where soft plastics. I don't know what the maker was or anything like that. It actually ate through the bag. Granted, it was over a season, like an entire fishing season. It just deteriorated it so much where it was like crumbling apart. So just be
Nope.
careful. Watch out for that.
Yeah, awesome. Aussie Cat, real quick, talked about the expensive Plano boxes. Yeah, that's why I haven't bought many of them. Look for them on sale on Amazon. I found some. Other than like the jig stuff, I think they're good. There's a terminal one I've got here. I might
Yeah,
show
the
later,
terminal one
but
is awesome.
this one real quick for jigs. So we were talking about jigs earlier. Before I forget, this is the Spro one. I thought this was going to
I
be
do
money.
like that.
I put all of my Ned rigs in it, all of my jigs in it. This is a new one. But after finding out my other one, once I was taking the hooks out, whatever's in this foam, it made my hooks like have a sticky residue on them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So just a heads up, I don't know what it is in these on my Ned rigs. They fished fine. They weren't rusted. They weren't, it was almost like there was a sticky, like kind of gummy wormy feel to it. So I don't know. And Brendan jumped in here. Sorry, Brendan, I didn't introduce you.
You're all good, man.
BBC
Sorry, I was late.
himself. What's up, my man?
BBC in the house.
Well,
Actually, just got off the water.
I was just looking on eBay. There's nobody has the old KVD speed bags on eBay either.
Oh man, they're gonna be so expensive eventually. Like once people like get around that, they're not available.
I got a pile of them. I got a pile of new ones sitting down in my tackle archive.
Yeah,
'Cause
I've still got a
Sell those
bunch.
things.
When I
$100
found
each.
those, I bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm keeping them forever.
So, it's funny with Debo when you showed that Spro box. Plano
Mm-hmm.
actually makes a hook box like that. That's great for storing your tube jig heads,
Oh.
your Neds, and all those things as well. But for me, that's like my refill because all of my stuff, goes into one of the Busby's for.
That's what I've got too. Let's talk about terminal. I think we're all getting to that. So
wait, real quick. Can I just back up just 1 second for jigs? Because I have so many jigs, whether it be
keep
swim
going
jigs,
back to jigs for Dizzle, yeah.
The heavy
I got
finesse,
top water jigs.
swim
you can boil
jigs.
my
Shut,
jig. You can
shut
stroke
your
my
mouth.
jig. Anyway,
What
go
is
ahead,
it?
Dizzle.
It's the Plano, the 2-tier. What is it? 4600 size.
Oh.
I really like that one because I could separate the two heavy finesse jigs all on the top because it's more important than anything else in the world, and then swim jigs underneath that.
Was it a Plano one? Yeah, that was
I don't
one.
even think I have
it.
a half-ounce jig in my.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have any half-ounce jigs.
Okay, Dizzle, do you throw a lot of football jigs?
Never. Ball head.
Okay. Are any of you guys football jig guys?
I'll throw some. I've been trying to work on it, learning to chase smallies more often.
Okay, so I'm a football jig super nerd.
You're a football jig junkie.
Right there,
right. We have a lot of rocks that we drag in the North Country here, but like I use just a regular Plano Edge 3600 for all my football jigs. But because I have like different brands and different sizes, the thing that's been the game changer for me is buying bulk baggies off of Amazon. So you buy these big bulk packages of just baggies.
Punch's side job.
I baggie all my shit. So like I got baggies with like, and I write down
baggies and get a little scale. Yeah, it's great.
So I write down on the baggies like this is like these are little creepers 33/8. You know what I mean?
Is that a Dizzle jig? The old creeper jig?
Little creepers.
Oh,
yeah, little creeper Dizzle.
So like here, I got a whole giant bag full of these are the Ichikawa. Oh no, not Ichikawa. I'm sorry, Ishini Lure Works. So he's like, I just write down those, half ounce. But anyway, the point is, I got a ton of football jigs in here, but I bag them with all the different brands and sizes.
That's pretty cool. A good way to like organize within your organizer.
I just take a wild guess.
I'm the same as Grant.
These are so cheap on Amazon, and they last you forever. You can buy these, and like, I bought this probably 5 years ago, and look how many I still have left. I'll die before I use all these.
Oh my goodness.
I like that.
That's the shut up, Randy, kick him in the water. But I do the same thing as Gramps, except I take it to one more extreme and I just throw everything in one big random one, and then I grab one out and go for the guess.
Why do you even do that? Just keep it in the tackle warehouse box that it ships in.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm horrible when it comes to organization.
Hey, Debo.
Okay.
Hey, Debo.
So I'm going to show you guys the next step you take when you go into the baggie mode. So when you get turned on to the baggies, this is what started this. So I was hanging around with Josh Douglas, former Bassmaster Elite Pro. I think he's going to get kicked off the tour this year. But anyway, Josh is a tackle organizing guru. He showed me this. So you take a 3600 bag.
That's true.
I'm sorry, you take a 3600 deep.
Good point on your baggie point is, if you do have them rust, it's going to be that one baggie that accidentally rusts instead of the whole box.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I learned this from Josh. You take a deep, and then you go nuts with your baggies, and you put all of your hooks in baggies. But what's cool with the baggies is
I just leave them in the original. All my hooks I leave in my original bag. Yeah, exactly like that.
You take out the backer from the hooks, and you put it into the baggie with the hooks.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like Gamakatsu, where they're just the regular plastic. Yeah, you just leave them in there.
Just keep it like that.
Yep, exactly.
And then I just reload the baggie with the same model hooks and just, because I'll have one baggie that'll have, 7 packages of hooks in it. But like I have it all organized. So I have like offset shanks, EWGs, swim bait hooks, Ned rigs, you know what I mean? So like I got every single kind of hook I need is in this one box.
That's pretty
I probably have
that's nice.
I probably have 1,000 hooks in here.
Do you have all like jig heads, belly weighted things like that too? Or
I got all the belly weighted swim bait hooks right in here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can squeeze them all in there.
That's like a big index card system. It's perfect.
It's awesome. I know exactly where everything is. You could say, hey, I need a 3/0 EWG ring hook. I know exactly where everything it is.
It's a
'Cause I've been
card
doing the same
catalog
box
to
for
Punch's
years.
Dewey Decimal system of a hook box.
But anyway, if you're like, where do I store my hooks? Just get a bunch of Amazon baggies, move them all into the Amazon baggies, get any deep box, and just shove them all in.
I do the
Mhm.
exact same thing for my tackle bag. I have a small one. It's like, I don't know what size that would be, like a 30.
Oh.
I don't know. It's this one, but I keep them
Oh,
all in
yeah.
the original thing, and they all stack up. And I throw that one little thing in my bag for hooks. I'll go grab it real quick.
And like
Super
annoying
nice.
stuff like Nico weights, like tungsten Nico weights, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I have like one big bag, and I say what the brand is, what the weight is, and then I just shove them all into this thing, and I have them all in here.
Have you, Punch, did you or Brennan, Gramps, either one of you guys, have you used the Plano terminal tackle box?
I don't. It's too. I'd rather do this.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what I was going to get at.
I do have one, but that stays in the truck in my deck system, and I refill this
Ooh, you have a
Busby
deck system?
from
I'm
that.
jealous.
So that's like
Okay.
everything is in that. My weights, my hooks, my punching stuff, all of that stuff is in the bigger one. But then I refill this small Busby based on what I'm doing that day on the water.
So I messed up when I first got that terminal box, the Plano terminal. I'm just like, I'm taking everything out of packages and I'm just throwing it all in there like sizes. And now everything has gotten mixed up and I'm just like, I don't even want this stuff anymore. I want to throw it all away.
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is my most OCD box. You guys got to see this. So this came out before I was doing this before all the terminal specific tackle boxes came out. So I have this box specifically because this box, you can flip these things around, throw it, and nothing switches compartments because the dividers on these things go right to the top. So nothing can slide in between the slots. But this is where I went nuts with the labelers. So these are all my weights. So all my worm weights are in here, right? And so I label all the worm weights. I label all my shaky head weights. So I got all the weights in here, and then drop shot weights are over here. But then I just baggy the weights, right? So I got all my tungsten flipping worm weights in a baggie, and it's in a little thing here, and it says, Reace, right?
That's
so
nice.
This is like super simple, but holds a ton of shit, and nothing ever gets mixed up because they're in the baggies, in the slots. These are great boxes because you can literally, you can flip this over and
just
nothing
easy
switches
installments in
compartments.
1995. You can get that same box.
Yeah, the only crappy thing about that is like as a bank angler, like if you're looking to have stuff smaller, I would say either put them at like Punch was showing in the baggies in something else, or this is one that I've done kind of the same thing that Punch is doing with that one. I've got a Spro one too, but looking to break these out into smaller deals. This happens to be a Bass Mafia, but I just cut the cardboard piece off. So like the cardboard piece that comes with the things, and I just lay them in the bottom. So you know exactly what the size is, the exact piece.
I'm getting you a label
smaller ones of these. Yeah. So like this one, like if I know I'm not going to fish a shaky head or something at a spot, I'll just leave this in the truck. But it's like, ooh, I know this is a good Ned rig spot. I can have a little one like this and throw that in my tackle bag, so.
Between these, I have like all hooks, Ned rigs, shaky head, flipping stuff. Everything I need terminal-wise is basically in these two boxes.
Now, part of the geniusness is I realize what Punch is doing here. If you're on a certain pattern and, my 3/0 hook with my 3/8 ounce weight is the juice for the day. If I break off, I need to retie. He can literally take two baggies out, set them on the deck of the boat, and he's right there ready to go for the rest of the day. You know
what I do? I actually take the baggies and I have them in my pocket. I literally have it like Nico weights or whatever I'm using for the day.
Punch is like, I get the little baggies, I put them in my pocket, I stand on the street corner, boom.
Yeah. I have my weed in one baggie and then I'm flipping right to the other baggie.
But if you think about it, the brilliance in that is if you're not going to just drop one weight or you're fumbling with opening one of these up over and over again. He's got everything that he needs in two little baggies right there.
Well, that's the same thing.
Those are cool. I've been thinking about picking one of those up.
Well, that's what I was going to say is downside to one of these. So this thing is tiny. Like once you get it in your hand, it's just a little deal. But instead of holding a bunch of crap, you can put. Now this one is like I keep this one in my truck, but you could keep a couple 3/8, a couple half ounce, or 10 1/4 ounce or whatever. You can have everything for the day in this, and you can go back to the truck and restock all in one.
I've been tempted to buy one of those for when I go fishing on other people's boats. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if I'm on my buddy's boat and I'm gonna flip for the day, I just put all my flipping weights into that thing, and
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
fishing.
that's a good looking.
Yeah, I'm getting.
I think people
comments
get
here.
apprehensive about buying those because it's not like a name brand that they know. It's like a, whatever, but they just seem so smart.
Can I show you guys
These are
a
from
box?
Harbor Freight. These are absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
I was-
They're waterproof. They're like $5.
You know,
Exactly.
I just
Yeah,
snacked
perfect.
up on
Perfect
one
point,
thing.
Brennan. Yeah, if you show that one up there, Brennan, please.
Yeah.
It's just like a Plano or a Frabill or whatever. It's the exact
Yeah.
It's
same
got the
thing.
seal around the
Got the
outside. It's got the
gasket.
3 latches. It's perfect.
It's
it's
funny
does
if you
it-
walk around Walmart, you'll find boxes like that in other sections, but they're cheaper because they're not in the
Well,
fishing
Well, it's the same
section.
company. Yeah, it's the same
You-
company
yeah.
that's
Check
not
out-
made for fishing. Yeah.
Walmart, I tell you what, that a box similar, I don't want to say similar to the one Debo just had open or held up, but I have one where I put my hooks, like whatever kind of, or not hooks, but weights in. I found it in the sewing section.
Yes. Yep.
Sewing section is dynamite. And granted, it doesn't have the super awesome seals and things
Which
like
is
that.
perfect for
but
Dizzle because he sews in his off time,
Look.
and then he also found stuff for fishing. So
Dizzle.
Debo, I knit,
knitting, yeah,
not
that's what it is.
sewing.
Yeah.
Knit.
So Dizzle, Austin Felix, the guy, one of the Bassmaster League guys, he's from Minnesota. He says he buys all of his scissors from the sewing department at Walmart because they have really
Whiskers.
good rust-proof, like nice sharp scissors at the sewing
Mhm.
department for like $1 or $2. And then
Yep.
you know what I mean? And that's what he uses on his boat. He just keeps anyway. So you're right. You're not the only fisherman that goes buy stuff from the sewing section at Walmart.
How about
None of the,
plastics? I will say the first like big plastics thing that I had, Rob, is these. I'm not a fan of Ike really, but he's got his Ike series flambeau. And like as far as like storing these on a shelf or like having a couple extra in your truck, they open from the top and they're wide enough where you can put everything in there, file size, or you can put them this way. Just put both each way and they come with dividers and stuff. But
Yeah, those
you
are
can kind of lay them out how you want. And they're nice because they have like the handle here so you can slide them in and out, if you have
That
them on
is
a shelf
nice.
or whatever. Those were like the first good way to store extra stuff for me, I found. But I know
How do those
Dizzle
work
has, like,
when
a
you
different
rip
way.
out the how do those work when you rip out the clamshells and throw them in the garbage instead of garbage on fire?
Well, you want to do that anyway, just to free up space.
Yeah.
But along the line with that one, Debo, if you go into the office supply section of Walmart, you'll find
Yeah.
organizers like that. It's like a wider index card holder. And I have some that fit exactly the width of my deck drawer in the truck. And that's where I keep all of my soft plastics that I don't carry with me on the kayak. But I've got like a file system of them in there. So if I need to go back and replenish or for the next day, day 2 of tournament or whatever, or it's like, oh my God, I got the wrong color. Let me, go back to the truck real quick. Those file systems, it's just perfect way to haul that stuff around too.
Grants,
you
I just
guys-
need to say I'm jealous of the deck system.
the decks
Oh,
are
dude.
beautiful. They're
Yeah.
sweet.
I wish I had
The
one.
thing I love about that too is it raises the height up. So if I want to camp in my truck, because I recently added a soft topper to it, literally just throw down an air mattress. And if I want to overnight somewhere and then get up and fish in the morning, I don't have to go pitch a tent. I've got it on the truck and just, I'm good to go that way too.
Lockable and waterproof both.
Yeah.
How
And
does
you
it-
can
Amazing.
carry 4-wheelers on top of them. I mean, they're just they're phenomenal, and they're on sale now because the newer version of it's coming out as well.
Storing swim baits. That's a tricky one.
This would be a good one for Brennan. I've got like I'll go real quick because I
Yeah.
only have one option, which is either one of the Planos, the deep, where it's one compartment where you can just put everything in. That's what I did for my first musky one. Oh, I gotta scoot over.
I bet you he's got the roll-up binders. You got the roll-up.
What do you think I have?
There it is.
Got the roll-up. All the hardcore swim bait nerds have the fruit roll-up binders.
Yeah.
This is a
It's just
3700
like my
deep
favorite.
solo, so it's one big compartment. I've got like
Oh,
some of
yeah,
my
yeah.
smaller musky baits and stuff in there. But the problem is, if you put one in wet, all your $1,000 of swim baits are rusted and you're screwed.
I just
So,
managed to take any big swim baits that I have and like just jam it in as best as possible. Get all the tails just all mangled up and call it good.
I'm gonna let Brennan answer this one. He's the swim bait guy. So.
So show us your
Well, I mean-
binder full of fancy swim baits.
If you're at home, pegboard is my favorite. But if you're going somewhere, these swim bin underground ones are legit. I fit I don't know. You can usually fit 10 in here, depending on the size, but it's nice because none of the hooks get in there. So I just probably ripped your ears out with that, didn't I? But
A little bit.
just
That's
pop
all
them
right.
in there. Let's see, I've got one sitting right here.
So even with the hook thing though, you just get those owner hook guards.
Yeah,
No,
big.
You don't need any hook guards. I just throw them in there with hooks on them, and
I actually have one on my desk because Brendan sent me one.
Those things are so
Sent me a
good.
swim bait, and I've got these on there.
I use those owner hook guards all the time.
Super
That's a good
small
idea.
size.
What I like
size.
about those owner ones is they're so easy to pop on and off. They just
Yeah.
pop in and out.
I didn't even
I don't
know
know
those
what that
bags
is.
existed, Brendan. I'm gonna have to get one
oh, dude, they're legit.
now that
They're
you've
only
got
like
me.
50 bucks,
Now
too.
that you've got me hooked on the games, trying to catch one on one of these big. We're gonna be throwing
It's
them
like-
next
it's
week.
like
That's
a-
for sure.
It's like a knife roll,
Yeah,
but
pretty
a little
much.
bit
It's-
different.
Yeah, it's like what
yeah,
chefs
you just
use.
roll it up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like chefs got their
Yep.
they roll their knives
Yeah.
out. The swim bait
Swim
nerds
baits.
roll their 250s out.
It's
Jermaine,
awesome.
man, I wish I could help you. I've never fished Gunnersville. And actually to help you catch dinks over JT, that ain't gonna happen. So
Yeah, because
any
I
advice
slayed
I'd
the
give you
dinks.
would be
I slayed the dinks and the big ones at Gunnersville a couple weeks ago.
I got a brand. I'm curious if any of you guys have ever used their products, but they're they're really niche but kind of cool. Have you guys ever used Groove stuff? GRUV.
Heard of them?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because they're tacky on one side. You can stick them on your boat or kayak or whatever,
Right.
and put a hook in them.
So these things are cool. You kayak guys, especially maybe on a John boat too. But these are cool.
Yeah.
These are called the launch pads. So yeah, they have 3M double-sided tape. You stick them anywhere. I got like 2 of these on my boat.
I have a
But what's
Rapala one like that for like my pliers, side cutters, and something. Oh, scissors.
So
This
this
like
is
a super
specifically
sticky.
this is specifically for hooks. So like
Yep.
it's like this. It's got the 3M on the back, but what's cool is the silicone. It's just a cover, so it comes off.
Oh,
But
Hmm.
it holds your hooks, terminal, jigs, whatever. So whenever I'm swapping lures real quick and I want to dry stuff out and I don't want to put it back in the box, I throw it on one of these and just let it sit there. And then the next day or whenever I remember, I just go back and then. But these little Groove launch pads are really freaking slick. They're not that expensive either. I think they're like $9.
Yeah, I had one of those in my first kayak, and I need to get some more because they're handy.
Oh, I give these out as gifts.
Or I
give
just
them
throw
to my
everything
dad
into
and-
a cup. I just throw them into a cup holder and then cycle through as I need it again.
So they took this technology, so the silicone things, I don't know what they're called, but they have a box that has a bunch of them, and I use this for all of like my swim bait heads. So because I lose swim bait heads so much because we're throwing them around wood and rock all the time, and I'm always I blow through these things, and so I just keep these as like quick grab, right? Like so all the
I
different.
feel like that's like DEBO'S Spro jig head box, but a little bit
Sorta.
different.
This thing is cool because it's a magnetic lid, so it just
Oh, dang.
snaps. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's magnetic.
fancy.
It
Oh,
doesn't
wow.
open on its own. I've beaten the absolute snot out of this box, and it's never cracked, never had problems. So they're super durable. But yeah, I like this thing, especially just for quick access to swim bait heads, Ned rig heads, football heads. I mean anything
Yeah.
really. But yeah, these are nice, and they're small, so you can stick this kind of anywhere in your boat or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Grams,
See,
I have
there's
something,
something
for you
is
that you
similar
might
that
like.
I think that Plano kind of copied that a little bit when they came
out
out
a
with
while.
their because theirs it's you insert it more or less, where those are more raised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Groove is their niche is ice fishing and trout. So like they make stuff for
Okay.
like they don't make big boxes for bass guys. This is the biggest box they make, but their stuff's really nice.
I honestly might have an ice fishing box by them.
They make little ones for like
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
for ice jigs and stuff. But yeah,
Brendan, there's a perfect segue for Brendan. Rob says, "Is Brendan ever going to talk?" We've let him talk a couple times.
Whatever. Come on now.
There's a lot of people
It's fine.
here. Sorry.
Gramps, I have something for that you might like. They were giving these out during ICAST. Dude, they're waterproof.
Okay, yeah.
They're waterproof though, so they'll float. So like you fill them with air. These are amazing. On like the
Yeah,
little-
I've seen those. I haven't
Paddleboard.
picked any up yet, but I will be.
how hard
so
is that?
cool.
How hard is those zippers to open? Because sometimes on those like waterproof things, the zippers like are a pain in the ass, and you gotta like
Dude,
chap.
it's actually not that like horrible. Like I mean, it doesn't take a bunch of force. It's pretty nice, honestly.
Is it
I
a
like it.
double seal, like a Ziploc and a zipper, or just the zipper?
No, it's just got a zipper and some sort of weird like rubber seal that goes over the top of it when you zip it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's interesting.
And is the bottom like kind of pleated where it would like flare open?
Yeah, it is. So it's not just some bag.
Okay.
It's got that there.
People talking about certain boxes sinking so fast if you drop them off a yak. Yeah. Hey, listen, we're
Oh, yeah.
talking about organization. We're not talking about flotation or saving your stuff here.
Guess what? Lead sinks.
You know?
Yeah. Yes, as does tungsten. It just makes you
So
cry more.
I do want to say Gramps kind of already touched on it a little bit earlier.
I had like 5
But-
people ask how many Debo fingers long it was. You guys didn't know my finger is perfectly 3 inches,
3 inches.
from tip to wrinkle. So I often measure things with my finger, and my hand this way is just slightly over 9 inches. So
Did you just do
anybody
the
wondered.
Wu-Tang hand thing?
Wu-Tang
Was-
ain't nothing to.
Wu-Tang forever.
I do gotta say, Gramps, amazing Busby boxes. These things
Yeah.
are awesome for like day boxes. And you know, the
Oh, yeah.
coolest part about it is all the like you can take out the compartments, put different ones in, different sizes.
Yeah.
They're like little Lego pieces.
Yeah, Paul and
again,
Jeff
these-
turned me on to those. And
Yeah.
Those are
if
awesome.
I had it to do over again, I'd probably have a whole lot more. But I want to find them in a store somewhere so I can put them in my hand and then figure out, you know, how I want to build them.
Yeah,
But
so
Yeah.
I found them in a store and they actually had these big, what are these 1 inch by 4 inch bins? So I have
I need that.
2 of those in here and then 2 1 by 2 inch bins and then another 1 by 3 inch bin in this. And it just works amazingly.
Yeah, I need to go find somebody who's carried those because those are awesome.
Little Rich had a
Did I
good
hear
question. What's
Debo? Did I hear Debo at some point in time when I was getting ready to unplug my laptop and move it over to my streaming desk? Was he talking about getting a kayak in the future?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that'll be a whole. Well, I'm gonna have to get a whole bunch of kayak nerds on me on me.
Ooh.
Good lord, it'll be PG. Don't worry. On
Oh,
with
man.
me for that night, and we'll talk about. Yeah, I think next year might be the year, and I think I'm gonna try to get Dizzle in one too. So
Very good.
Nice.
we'll see here.
You
Little
wanna know
Rich, that's a great question. I don't know if you guys
I have a
have
great
any.
answer.
Go ahead. Oh, don't
monkey.
say frickin'. Oh, okay, I'm. As
Fish
long as you're
monkey.
not saying
Ooh.
frickin' nitrile gloves, Dizzle.
This is a question for me because I've winter fished in Minnesota and I've been on
I was going to say.
I've been on a nonstop hunt for years to find really good waterproof gloves because a lot of them say they're waterproof and they'll keep your hands warm. They never do. Like they're waterproof, but your hands are literally going to be frozen.
That's
Dude.
what I've got. Thin ones that are
Yeah.
waterproof or big ones that keep you warm that are not waterproof. So I'm not.
Yeah,
good
I mean,
at
you
that.
can
good.
So
you
there's
can
a
go
company-
all out and get
I-
fish monkeys that are ridiculous. I mean, they range from I think the pair I have some of the like the fingerless sun gloves, right? A pair of those and then more of like, you know, those old school like they were mittens, but the top folded back and then your fingers were exposed and things like that. They have versions like that, and then they have like super duty like ice fishing gloves, but they're 100 and some odd bucks a pair. But they
So-
are amazing.
Yeah, the what are they? Monkey. What are they called again?
Fish monkey.
Fish monkey.
Fish monkey. Yeah, fish monkey makes some good stuff, but I have used the fish monkey gloves in sub freezing, and my hands got pretty cold.
Really, I tell
Yeah.
you what you should do is go to like a Home Depot or something, and find some like black shop gloves, like nitrile gloves.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like
No, I believe you.
you put those on. I would wear those ice fishing. You put those on underneath,
Well-
and like the worst thing about it is your hands get so sweaty because it's so hot. They don't let any
And what's
any
the
heat out
worst thing
whatsoever.
for anybody that travels in cold? What's the worst thing you don't ever want to happen?
having
What's
to
cold?
listen to Debo
Is
all
get
the
sweaty
time.
and sweaty and cold. So
You
but
just
no,
leave
that's
the
fine.
gloves on
Well,
then.
Debo, go open up Omnia real quick or whatever tackle website.
Real
you
quick, I
use.
will say, Robert, I've got 2 options. Dizzle actually turned me on to these.
Oh, yeah.
The
The Willow
Willow Vibe?
Vibe.
Willow Vibe is a really cool, different, lighter hook. I would also say look at the Chatterbait Mini Max. It's a smaller hook. It's more finesse, but it's not like I don't know if
You
there's
can-
less necessarily like a light hook
You
chatterbait.
can
You
get
guys
some
might know, but
crazy
those are my
action out of
options.
those Willow Vibes too.
Yeah, these things are pretty
Like-
neat. And this is a light hook. I mean, you can see here with my thumb, I can bend this. I could bend this out, no problem, bend it straight. So, you know,
Those
it's a
are
light
pretty cool.
wire, but yeah, it's neat. Okay, Omnia. Sorry, I'm trying to double task and triple task, and I've got
Love
the
that
Brady
Mini
Bunch up
Mac.
here, and
So we winter fish up here on open water on the Mississippi River. So it can be like 25 degrees above the water, and we fish a warm water discharge from a power plant. So the water.
Yep.
So what's funny is our rods ice up, and we dip them in the water because the water's warmer than the air.
Yeah.
So we dip to get the ice off of your rod. You got to dip it in the water. But the gloves that I used last year that actually don't suck is go to search for Blackfish.
Oh yeah.
So Blackfish is clam. So it's an ice fishing company. So the DNA in this company is from ice fishing. And so Blackfish is Clam's like open water brand that they tried to sell to bass fishermen because they're like bass fishermen don't buy clam because it's ice stuff. So we rebranded to summer stuff. But yeah, those waterproof gloves 100% work. They're neoprene. They actually stay warm, and you got pretty good dexterity for operating a reel.
I think Clam in general makes some pretty good products that aren't necessarily full on ice.
Their ice
cold
stuff is legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make really good heads. They make good jackets. They make
Cam's got some good stuff. Yeah.
But these gloves, they are $50, so it kind of sucks that they're kind of more expensive. But I used these last winter in some nasty, nasty weather, and my hands I got decent use out of my hands for multiple hours. So like 2-3 hours.
Do they have like a grip on the palm?
Yeah, there's
kind of a silicone palm. Am I sharing?
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Yeah. So silicone palm, touchscreen in case like you're dizzling instead of fishing, you're playing on your phone. You can play with your phone.
Dude, you use your phone constantly.
That's actually a big deal for kayak guys when we're doing our catch photo release too. That's
a good point. Yeah, really good point.
The touchscreen functionality, it's not as good as you think. Like I didn't have very good operational use of my phone with these gloves on, to be perfectly honest. But they do actually make your hands not freeze off from actually, because to me, you got to be able to dip your hand in the water and actually like handle a fish that's soaked and then continue fishing and not be freezing. And those gloves actually don't suck.
I do like
a lot of people. I mean, their hands get cold when they're casting in the cold, and just the water off of the line is hitting their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know that because
or the first fish you catch. Yeah, the first fish you catch and get your hands wet and
there's two things that are never going to not work is wool and leather, right?
Yep.
So just any good wool gloves, if you're not getting too wet, will usually always keep your hands warm. And if you're going to get wet, you're going to be in the ice and snow, always leather. Leather is the best. I mean, ask any snowmobiler in the world. They all have leather gloves.
Real quick punch. What was I'm behind? This is at 8:30.
Magnetic Groove. It's a weird name. GRUV.
Groove. JP, you might have got that already. Sorry, I'm behind. So
this company, GRUV.
GRUV. One thing, Bassel's Chap, I did want to say, I've brought this up multiple times before, but this was something new that I never thought about with my old boxes, and like somebody that has switched stuff out over the years and has bunches of boxes, pulling things in and out, is plastics. So I forget who it was. I wish I could give I don't know if it was BLAT or it was somebody with Z-Man. Anyway, they talked about virgin boxes, a box that has never had something in it. So maybe we don't use virgin, but new box, I guess we'll say, is what they call it, but a box that has never had anything in it. So any sort of plastic, like a plastisol. So let's say I get a bunch of Berkeley worms. I put it in here. Even the residue from Berkeley worms, once I take them out, has plastisol residue in here. So if I switch the Berkeley worms out, I personally don't ever do this. I don't keep plastics in a box. I always keep them in the original bag. But if you're somebody that likes to do this, I put Berkeley worms in here. I take these out. I put Z-Man in. The Elastec stuff will still interact with the oils and stuff that plastisol leaves behind. So if you're going to take a box, like a plastic box, Plano, whatever it is, make sure it's a box that has never had anything in it. It's brand new off the shelf if you're going to put Z-Man in it. Because if you mix and match, even if there's not a single plastisol bait, because for those of you that didn't know, Z-Man Elastec, the real stretchy stuff,
is the worst ever.
Plastisol, it creates a goopy mess.
It's pretty funny what happens.
Yeah, it's bad. So just a heads up, if you were
creates
somebody
new action.
Yeah, creates a new deal in there. If you're somebody who likes to store in the box, make sure it's a box that's never been used. Wanted to bring that up quick.
You can take solvent-based cleaners and just clean it out real quick, and it will fix that issue.
Oh, Good
So,
call. Okay.
Like nice
Thank you, Brennan.
isopropyl alcohol. It just make sure you don't like let it sit, or else it'll like warp your box. So
Well, alcohol's a good point because it evaporates out. So
yeah.
excuse me.
And it keeps you
point.
warm while you're ice fishing.
I hang out with a lot of youth anglers, and I give them a lot of Z-Man stuff once in a while. And every time I give them Z-Man, when I hand them the bag, I don't give it to them without giving them the disclaimer of, you always leave this plastic in these bags. Never mix this with anything in your tackle box ever. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And
No
they go,
mixy
yeah.
matchy.
Then I hand them the bag.
You
I always
understand
give
the
them a
words are coming out of my mouth.
Let's see. I'm at the end, I think, of all my star
Punch.
people. So
8:45. Robert asked, "Do you have to fizz a lot of the fish when you're working? Like you get them, like the deeper fish, I should say."
I don't fish a lot of smallmouth super deep. Like the deepest I'll catch a smallie is maybe like 25, 26 feet.
hold on.
We don't have like super deep. I mean, they do. We can catch them super deep, but I typically don't because I don't want to fizz. So I'm
Yeah,
kinda,
I mean, I
target
know
those
of it,
deep fish.
but that just it weirds me out to have to like do that.
It's not really a big deal. You just got to know where to make the poke.
Right.
Like you got to
And I
know.
don't.
Speaking of poking somebody, I wish I had a spear because I'd poke Gramps with a spear right now, like a big old boar spear.
I've found a new reel this year that just wow.
Oh my
Can't-
god.
can't
We
get
might,
in the U-
we might
can't
have
get
to
in the
delve into
US.
this in our kayak video. I'll be sure to bring you in, Gramps, on that one. We might have to go into this more, but we're already at an hour 10. Holy piss. What else we got for storage?
I got one more nerdy storage tackle thing. Have you got any guys use these Megabass clear plastic bags?
I'm not
Never
bougie.
used
Come
one.
on now.
No.
These are cool because they're
Like, too
totally
bougie.
see-through. And no, they're actually not that expensive. They're like normal price.
Oh, really?
It's
They're
hard to
like
find.
$48. That's fine.
Yeah.
3 easy payments in 1995.
What
They're
a
just
firm
hard
is
to-
for.
Yeah.
The
They
problem
have a
finding-
credit card, 0% for 12 months.
And then after that, 28% APR.
Just roasting Punch. Come on now.
It's you want that. You got to have that sweet logo, right? You got to need that red logo.
Actually, I told Punch beforehand that he's one of the couple JDM folks that can be bougie and also will explain stuff off screen to me in a nice way. Some of
So
the
when you have
JDM guys are just
plastic,
dumb pricks.
when you have plastics in bags that are weird sizes, like these Depths bags or like the Hazadon
Yep.
shad, these like long ass weird bags. These Megabass clear plastic bags are awesome. They hold all those like weird, long, strange sized bags. Like, big worms,
Just-
like big 10-inch worm bags or something like that. These
Sixth
things
Sense does that too with some of their long,
Right.
yeah.
But I like these because they're kind of thin and they're totally clear. So what I have is in one of my back compartments on my boat, I have like 7 of these, and they're all technique specific. So like this is like the poop bag or poop bait bag. I have one for Hazadongs. I have one for tubes. I have one for free rig stuff. So like it's cool to make these little technique specific ones, and then I can just open a compartment and I just look. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's in this thing. So
I do like how when you open that up, it literally went into like a V, so it's like a
Yeah, I
file
like that.
system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
Almost like a
that's
file
kind
folder.
of slick right there. Yeah.
you can pack a ton of stuff in it, and these things are durable. I've had some of these for years. I've gone through lots of different temperature swings and thrown around, and none of them have ever cracked or had any issue. The zippers all work. I'm just saying, these are sweet if you want a little flair, and they got a little like carbon fiber look to the thing. If you want something a little flashy and a little kind of neat,
There you go.
these things are cool. They come in a smaller size too. Oh, these things are great for storing dark sleepers or any of those like sleeper craws, dark sleepers, those ones you still want to keep in the clam package, because I usually always keep those in the clam package, or like meg drafts, because I always keep my meg drafts in the actual clam package, just put them back in. But when you have a bunch of them, you can like throw them all in something like this, right? I don't know. These things are sweet. I like these.
I like that.
Fat Guy Bassin, good question, dude. I don't know. So far they have not. I have put the whatever their chatterbait is. I can't think of the name of it off.
Slobberknocker.
Slobberknocker.
Yeah.
I've put it in with my other skirted baits, and so far it's not been an issue. But I don't mix skirted baits with plastic. So what I mean is, like, if I have, well, here's a good example. So here's a jig. I store my jigs, like this has got a chunk on it, or this one has a horny toad on it. I never store jigs like this in a box. I always take the plastics off.
Oh
You
gosh,
just store them in
I've never
the
done that.
door of your truck like that.
I do actually. Funny enough, I do throw them in my truck, and I don't know if it's because there's enough air or whatever. They don't melt together, so store them in
I
your
take-
truck door or take the plastic off, put them in a box. So
I take every single piece of plastic off every jig at the end of
I
the
do
day.
too, yeah, when I put them back in the box. Yep.
I just
Yep.
I rip them. I can't even. My rod locker has very bad ventilation, so like
Ah.
I got an old boat. My boat's a 2002. So when you close the lid and then I put my cover on and then it sits out, if I leave certain plastics that are really salty, that they'll sweat and create a bunch of moisture all over the rods, and it's nasty. So I'll like open my
Really?
compartment back up after a hot weekend, and then there's like it's just all the like if I leave like a jig trailer on, it's like sweating and making all this moist. And so like I always remember I'm like, oh, I gotta pull all the damn plastics off before I stick all my rods back in the locker.
Interesting.
Man.
Yeah, Gramps.
old boat
Once we
problem.
do the kayak show, Gramps. Yeah, apparently he'll be giving a
Yeah,
zillion away because he said
The
zillion's
Zillion
absolute-
is still on the
He
Dobbins
said they're
Champion
absolute shit now. He
736.
actually texted me. I got a text. And he said, "Debo, sorry to break your heart, but zillions are pieces of crap." So he'll be giving away
Wait,
one
I
on
thought-
that.
And
No,
I
thought
got
he
a
texted you.
DM from Gramps that said I will win personally because Debo screws me out of winning any kind of giveaways on his channel.
Oh,
So
man.
No, the Zillion is for the heavier jackhammers when I'm fishing grass or deeper water. The Zillion is still in play, and it will be going back to Gunnersville with me this next week.
I love Zillions. I'm really stoked about the new Steez SV that Dio was.
Dude,
going
you
on.
started posting about that. I was like, oh no, let me.
I do not want
Again,
to see the
bust
price.
bust out your Mega Bass credit card for
Oh my God.
17 small payments of $186.
$984.
I tried to get Ben from Hookup Tackle to say what the price on the new SV is, but I don't even think that anybody knows yet what the MSRP. Because the new Steez
I'm guessing
A
like $700 or $800, right?
is probably going to be north of 7.
Good Lord.
Well, the
Yeah.
old SV, I'm sorry, the old Steez A's were $500. The Steez A SV, I think, was $550. I think it was like a $50 more to get the magnesium version. And then the Steez A went to $650 with the Steez A2. So it took a $150 bump with the new one. So the new Steez SV is probably going to leapfrog that. Like, it's going to be fucking insane. Like, it's going to probably be 700 something bucks for a Steez. And I will buy one.
Punches made me get worse and worse in my old age as I learned to start appreciating things.
The new Steez SV, if you look at the pictures, it's a new reel because the
Yeah.
Steez A, they just took the old Steez A, changed the paint, put a different spool on, the new hyperdrive or whatever the fuck they call the gears. But like the new SV is a totally new Steez, like it's a new platform, so everyone's like, ooh, something new.
Yeah,
finally.
Gramps and Punch, if you guys want to throw your codes in the chat, there's been a couple of people asking. Somebody else asked about Gramps sale. I don't think I think it was in regards to the crowd. Okay, I'm guessing your code Gramps doesn't work with that because it's already a
That
better
wouldn't work
scale.
with that. Yeah, it's got to be something that's not map protected. So Gramps 10 still there, but Punch's code
Gramps
comes
10.
in real handy if you're trying to find, the newer stuff that's getting out like that. You're trying to get a hold of the Chatterbait Evo. I actually split between Punches, Hellabasses, and Ben Novak's, putting in a bunch of orders in.
Spread it out as well. I do the same thing. If I need a code, I use everyone else's code sometimes.
Yep, I do the same thing. I share the
There's
love with
Punches.
everybody.
Yeah, Gramps is easy. Gramps 10, but yeah, for like American Legacy, the whoever was asking about that, the crowd okay, they've got some crowd okays for like 120 bucks.
Something
with
to
the old
note.
one.
Omnia just stocked all of the Crush City baits. So if anyone's been excited to grab some of the knockoff
Oh,
JDM Crush City stuff, if anyone's wanting those fun knockoff baits that everyone was complaining about at ICAST, Omnia is shipping them right now. They have them.
which I just
Y'all
put in
can
an
get
order
'em.
for some Rapala stuff for ice fishing. They've got some cool ice fishing stuff out there.
Rapala.
So
Wait,
Hey,
can
so-
you explain ice fishing to me? What is this thing? Ice.
oh
What is
yeah,
this ice
Brennan.
thing?
Since Brennan's down in
Yeah,
Florida, I know
Brandon,
he's not in
Brandon,
Florida.
maybe when you get
Georgia
old
is
enough,
every
we'll
time.
talk to you about it, okay, buddy?
Dude,
He doesn't get ice in Georgia. I mean, it's
Yeah,
ice fishing
Florida,
is what
Georgia,
bored-
same thing.
ice fishing is what we have to do to stave off boredom in February.
Dude, I actually so
To stave off sad. It's
we're
an
gonna have to-
acronym.
I'm gonna have to
Seasonal
do. We're gonna have to do one
affectiveness
Dizzle
disorder.
after our first ice fishing escapade, because it's supposed to warm up again. I think next week. We're gonna have to do an open water versus ice fishing, and what has made me convert. Because last year, Super excited for ice fishing. One of the most, not even one of the most excited I've been to go ice fishing. Shit year for ice fishing. We didn't get ice till late. This year, super excited again. And there's been a couple of things that have changed really my whole passion for ice fishing. So
I really only get excited for ice fishing when I know there's going to be ice I don't have to worry about. There's no such thing as ice you don't have to worry about.
See, I want to take you on ice we have to worry about, because that'll be a perfect video. Like, Debo got a tank, Dizzle fell through, cops called, ambulance.
Dude, I've been on like 3-inch ice before. Crystal
Remember
clear,
the time it was me, you, and Dad, and we're all sitting there in our huts, and we hear, and Dad goes, even Dad, who's not ever afraid of anything, goes,
ever.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is it popped tent from tent to tent.
Yeah.
So, and like, seriously, it felt like I dropped 3 inches, but realistically, it was like maybe a quarter of an inch. If
ice always makes noise and always freaks you out, and then it's really no big deal usually.
It's really bad news bears.
I'll stick with watching Ice Road Truckers.
Hey, we'll get you up here, Gramps. We'll ice road truck you up here, and we'll have an overnight weekend party. Me, Gramps, and Dizzle.
I'm telling you, if I come up there, I'll bring a heat wave, because when I went down to Florida on Christmas to go fish with Liz, it was 29 degrees. She kicked me out of the state.
Well, bring a cold wave up here.
Debo, do you ever go ice fishing and specifically target largemouth?
Absolutely, yes. The only thing that I have not got on that I've targeted and want to is pike. I want to get on a solid pike ice fishing bite.
That same day that the ice popped, you had that big pike come through on your camera, didn't you?
Huge pike come through on my camera, which is one of the things I'll spoil. An underwater camera is effing amazing. It's so much fun. I'm not even gonna lie. That's why I have a hard time listening to these nerds that are like, live scope is cheating and all this stuff. And like, I don't know. I don't get into that because I'm not a pro bass fisherman, but I'm like,
do any of you guys have younger kids? I don't know what you guys' kids situation is.
Yep.
So the camera is
Brendan's a younger kid, so we can
Brendan is
attention.
Yeah.
Brendan, when you're out ice fishing, you'll have a no, like if you want to keep kids' attention, like kids under 10, have a camera, because the camera is like, kids think it's cool to see what's going on at the bay and see fish come in and go, like
lots of snacks.
Kids do not give a shit about looking at a flasher. Flasher is super boring to a kid, but if you set up a camera and show them the bait and they can wiggle it and stuff, that keeps kids' attention usually.
Flashers are fun to watch, though.
Not for an 8-year-old,
not for kids. Yeah, and not for a lot of people, because it's just lines on a screen.
Right.
Let's see. What
Once
else
you
we got
figure
for
out what the
tackle
lines
storage?
mean. Hey, I got two. I got 2 pieces.
Go for it, Dizzle. Dizzle, we're gonna make you large here. And Brendan, I want something out of you. You've been too quiet over there. Okay. We can't have this quiet Brendan stuff.
I mean, he had the roll bag. He shot his. Yeah,
shot. I had my 5 seconds of fame. It's okay.
Yeah, he dropped his big swim bait knowledge. Give us something else over there, Brendan. Here, hold on. Dizzle's gonna enlighten us here.
All right. So the first is actually, it's a Daiwa box, Debo. It's a Daiwa. Do you see the logo?
Hey, has anybody real quick? Has anybody used the Debo boxes that they ripped off of my channel? They actually copyrighted Debo and made it the Debo box, and have made millions on it, and didn't give me a single
million.
Holy cow!
Millions.
Anyway, I like these boxes. They come in, I think, 3 or 4 different sizes. This is the wide. The thing that I really like about this, punch. I think this might kind of be the material in that one box. It's like a foam almost. So if you have a treble hook, or obviously it's a crankbait box, you stick your treble hook in there, and not only does it stay in place, you don't have to worry about that pesky treble hook finding your finger when you're trying to pull them out.
Cool.
Shimano had a box kind of like that was like the coveted jerkbait box that people couldn't find for a long time, and people were like,
so I have this. This is the crank wide, so wider crankbaits. You could.
Is that for salt? Like it looks like
freshwater.
Okay,
it's actually the Guggen jig box. He switched the stuff on it with his.
Those are great.
I have no idea what the hell I was gonna say now. Thanks, Debo, you jackass.
The other one, Dizzle, that I wanted you to show. I don't know if you have it, but the one with like the vertical things. That's one that I wanted to show here real quick on the Sherry deal.
So, funny enough.
Oh, there it is. I'm going to share this one. Hold on.
So this is one thing I wanted to actually bring up. is
That's a cool one. I
you
want to
know,
get some of those.
punch. It's awesome if you can, get your fancy magnetic different lure boxes and things like that from, um, all of these fancy makers. But I was looking this up while we were talking earlier, and the Bass Mafia version of this is like 50 or $60.
And that's Flambeau, so you can get that at Walmart.
Flambeau, I
Yep.
got it at the old Fleet Farm, and it's got the
Fleet Farm.
Zur Rust material in it, and this is $29. $29, and here, let me open this up.
That's
real
still
quick.
kind of expensive for a box. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
But look at how many lures this stores.
I get it, but still, $30 for a little box. I get it.
This
I've
isn't
got
a
it on
little
here.
box. Look at how
Well,
many lures this stores.
My definition of a little box.
And the thing I really do like about this is you can take these out.
That's what I really
Any-
do like. Those are pretty cool.
And
I'll share
they
That's
all
from
literally they all just come out.
Flambeau.
and,
the crank box.
The Zur Rust, I don't
Because,
oh,
like,
here, look,
So the
you
cool
can
thing
actually have
about
one crankbait in there.
That's pretty cool.
the cool
just
thing
sits
about
there
that
like
is like the way I store my cranks, which I did bring
Ask
one
a question,
specifically.
Does a standard like jerkbait fit in that?
I can get a what are they?
What about the deeps?
I've got
Probably not a
one.
deep, no.
What's the big Chapo? Is that the 110?
So the nice thing about my box is I can have 762 crankbaits.
Dude, that's a okay.
pull
that's a
everything
bait.
out and see exactly what I've got here.
That's
Tie
the
that one
bait
on,
chandelier. You got to hang that in the back.
Oh man.
It's,
Yeah, but no, that it
It's not
fits. It
optimal.
fits
It's
full
not
size
optimal
baits.
at all.
I got a video idea. You hook that up to a musky rod and see if you can cast all of those at once and catch something.
Dizzle,
see what
Dizzle
comes
showed me
back.
that, and I'm like, yeah, I should really probably get some of those because we're
Never
talking about
hang up
tackle
something like
organization.
that in a house if
Yeah.
you have a
Line
cat.
all those up and be like,
And
I told my
and
dad
what
we're
is-
talking tackle organization, and he busted a gut. I'm like, you want to stay and talk about it? He's like, what the hell do you know about tackle organization? I'm like, Dad, you're not supposed to be crap talking me. He's like, you better pan
God.
that camera around and show him your mess.
Debo,
Hang that up if a cat's in the house
This-
and you're in trouble.
Yeah,
this fits 48 minimum of 48 baits.
I do
For
like
the
that one.
lipless,
I'll agree. That's a pretty
I-
sweet one.
I will put double lipless in those slots. So oh Jesus.
I like
if
that
you
one.
want to try that one out,
that-
it's empty. You can have it.
Sweet. Well, give it to me.
there you go.
And all the money in your wallet and lunch money too. Give it to me.
Holy
Um,
Now,
And
I
your
found
bike.
So for-
15
Come back,
pennies.
for
Found 15
kayak
pennies in my
storage,
truck today.
I've got the
Yeah,
little crankbait
cramps.
box. Now you'll notice the empty slots because I had to remove the juice first, but
Mm-mm.
because I know the rest of the
on
knuckleheads
that.
are watching and wanting to know what me and Jeremy caught our 20s
it's
on.
serious in here.
But yes. So we got it. We got a little bit. We're gonna be ready with some shad patterns. We're gonna be might be good time for throwing some red lipless. You got the Berkeleys, and then a lot of 6 Senses are my favorites. So
Hey, what did
Gramps,
you
I'm
have in
ready
those
to
3
throw the
empty
balsa
spots?
around. I cannot wait.
Yeah, people saying I pulled out last year's Christmas lights. The one compartment Plano, people are making fun of me for using that. Yeah, my dad did burn me pretty hard on that. He's like, boy,
I
the
w-
hell do you know?
I wonder
about
what
organizing
DEBO'S
that
extension
stuff?"
cords in his garage look
Yeah.
like.
Oh man, dude, you don't even want to know.
I don't
That-
know.
It's a
Based
big
on-
tote. It's one of those big totes with everything thrown in one. You pull out one, you get 74 extension cords. So it's like, oh yeah, I got enough room here.
Start
I think-
plugging stuff in different ends to find the one.
I think you can tell just based on the backgrounds of all of our Zooms is who's the least organized person here.
Definitely
Like
I'm trying
organized,
to clean up. Bunch,
Dizzle's
I'm not even gonna show
organized,
you.
Brendan's organized, Gramps
I'm
is
not really
organized.
that
Specifically-
organized.
Specifically because I knew Punch was coming on, I'm like, I better clean up a little bit. And this is,
You know who the messy kid is.
I am bad when it comes to organization. I am very ADHD. For those of you that didn't know, and I am very pile oriented. So when it comes to ADHD pile things, piles are comfortable for me. So
I like
it doesn't
totes.
make sense.
Really a big fan
Whiteboard
of
full
totes.
again, dude. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, Whiteboard is like, I think 3 months behind now. Hold on, let me check. It's
Holy
bad.
cow.
Yeah, I need
Wow.
somebody to come over and help me
You know
out.
what? We haven't
because-
talked storage yet. We haven't talked about frogs.
Ooh, actually, I
Don't
talked
don't
shit
pull
about
out that.
Do you
I was
put the
gonna
baby
say,
powder in
Punch,
there?
you better
for 'em?
not pull out the Plano.
No.
frog
I
box.
talked shit about it. I actually got one. Plano sent me one after I talked shit about it. And I will say that it's actually pretty good for storing extra stuff. Now, like as a bank angler, somebody doing stuff, no, it doesn't work out. But they sent me one after talking crap about it. I'm like, okay, it's
Wow.
actually pretty cool. I will say.
Okay.
that.
So I had a little bit of a
Let's see
like
if I can find it.
I had
Hold on,
I had
yeah.
a self-realization moment a couple years ago because I had a frog box, had tons of frogs in it. It was like I just used a regular 3600, piled them in, and I
Mhm.
realized I only used maybe 2% of the frogs in the box, right? And I'm like, I could probably, because I have a small boat, I can only have a certain amount of tackle boxes in my boat, and I'm like, can I just bump this down and then use the space for something else that I actually like use more of? So I went to the thin. They make a thin.
Ooh, yeah.
So they make a thin box, and then I just have the actual frogs I'm probably going to use, like a couple colors from my favorite types, and they all fit really nice in here. It takes up super little amount of space, and it helps me not think about too much about like what frog should I use when I have less of a selection. Do you know what I
You
mean?
said frogs. I thought you said we haven't talked about rod storage.
No, frogs.
Yeah. So I won't
Gramps
be
is like,
playing
I'll
in
sit this one
section.
out.
Yeah.
So like it's helped me because like I just have my favorite colors and my favorite models, just a couple of them. I don't have to. It cuts down on my decision making. I'm like that one or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Debo just walked back with 16 shoe boxes full of something.
But yeah, these thin boxes are pretty sweet.
But I,
I actually found Punch. I found so we have Fleet Farm and we have Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Very confusing, I know. But I was at
what happens when you're two brothers that go into business together and then
Yeah.
have a disgruntled.
Well, up
Disagreement.
here in Minnesota, we have Mills Fleet Farm. So it's the
Mills Fleet
Mills
Farm, okay.
family that has the Fleet Farms up here.
Yeah, our Fleet Farm is just Fleet Farm. Anyway, we'll get back on topic. I was at Blaine's one day and I found the Plano boxes, not the terminal box. God, I don't remember which one it was, but they were like $10 and I bought all of them. So that size, I think it's not quite as thin as the one you just held up, but it's not as large overall either. But I have like 4 or 5 of those. Yeah, not quite that thin.
I do like those thins for a backpack for cranks.
Mhm.
Really good because you can fit a couple more than you normally would.
So handy.
I was using this for top waters like shower blows and spooks because they all fit kind of
Jerk
flat. You don't
baits
really need any of them. You use like 3 colors, you know what I mean? Or maybe
Yeah.
2 for the most part. But yeah, these thin boxes are nice. But
So I will say, so going to the frog thing. So again, my dad does have reason to say, Debo, what the hell do you know about organizing? So this is how I store all my extra frogs, which is it's a cardboard box, and I have it, I have it put to the side. What I could store it in is the Plano one that they were nice enough to send me, even after I talked crap about it on the iCast thing. I did try it out and put some in here. I'm like, actually, this is pretty sweet because you could put frogs on the bottom plus all the frogs here. Now, as a bank angler, like throwing this in my truck, it doesn't make a ton of sense. If you're somebody who fishes a ton of frogs in a boat, makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of what you want it to be, but
that's not unless you got a big ass boat. That's not.
Well, that's what I
probably
mean. Like if you have a ton of frogs, but kind of like on the deal of topwater, I carry more than I should. I probably carry 6 frogs, but a couple black, couple white, couple popping. And that's really all I'm using. Do you need storage for 100 frogs? No. But unless you have something like this, where like I could take one whole misorganized cardboard box and put them all into one of these, then it makes sense. So
back to my topwater box that had all the buzz baits in it. My whole collection of 2, 1 popping,
Gramps, come on,
1 walking.
We got to get this whole frog situation figured out.
Hey, I caught a couple on a frog this year, and
you did.
You're literally surprised that I still have 2.
I'm
in
happy.
the correct color, along with the Christmas party gone bad that's hanging up there somewhere.
Let's see if we can do fishing license trivia again. Ooh.
Let's do it.
Burn. Yeah, that was one of the.
Speaking of which, everybody going to Gunnersville, make sure you get your temporary license.
Ooh, good call.
How much do those run, Gramps?
You can get a
$30?
3-day for I'm wanting to say $15, a 7-day for 35. I just go ahead and buy the annual since we're going to keep driving down there. For me, it's a 6-hour straight shot south. So I'm starting to like Gunnersville a whole lot. So for me, that's a pretty simple drive, you know, if we're going to go spend a weekend down there. So I just buy the annual for, I think it was like 60 or 70, something like that.
Patrick,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually a really good point. He asked, what's the highest number
Yeah,
of
but that's
frogs
out of state too.
What's the
Right.
Mhm.
What's the highest number of frogs I've used? I can think of a couple trips where Dizzle and I have burned through probably 5 or 6 frogs in a day.
Is it that we're
That's-
using them, or it's like getting broken off by pike, or
Well, they're getting either broken off or ripped apart in half by pike.
You know-
So
yeah?
the frog bite for me sucked this year. Like
same. I only had a couple good days.
I
Interesting.
have areas that I know if fish are in mats. I know they're in pads. I know they're in reeds. I run the frog through. I don't even get a hit. Then I go through the same pass, flipping a 1-ounce Texas rig and catch them. And I'm like, I know they're there. They just didn't care about the frog. And then I flip a flipping bait in front of them and they eat it. So I'm
Is
like,
it too thick for them to come out?
I just think they see frogs so much around here. I think they're
Or
just
this frog?
yeah.
This frog.
Yeah.
No,
It's-
seriously, you
it's
fish it like a frog.
Is that the Citizen?
That's
Yeah,
the
you fish it like
Citizen.
a
I know
frog.
what that one is.
Yeah, I know.
He schooled me
Yes.
on that one.
My
Fish it in the
problem
grass.
is, so from a boat, that's an interesting perspective from a boat punch, and places can change every year. But like from the bank, the places that Dizzle and I used to fish where it's 3-4 foot down, 4 foot of water is a ton, where we had a whole bunch of like the places where we would catch fish now that are completely dry were rock piles, pallet piles that were also covered by vegetation, and we would crush them there. Now we've got these like big branch piles, pallet stuff that's all dried up, and it's 3, 4, 5 foot down in some of the places that we fish from the bank, and it's just not the regular places holding them. So I have
And the
complete-
otters.
and the otters, yeah, I have complete faith we could catch them out on like a boat or something. But for bank anglers, when the water's down, or if the places change, it's a whole different deal. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about the lakes I fish, and the ones around me get a lot of pressure, especially
Right.
for frog fishing, because people love throwing frogs around here. So, like, I just think fish are just they've seen it.
the frog for me is kind of weird because it's more of a like a reaction bait. Like I'm not fishing it in like a lot of clear stuff, so it's like they're just coming up and reacting. You know, they're smacking.
Well, I
it.
mean, that's our frog fishing too, though, Debo. We don't. It's a lot more like that, where it's like super heavy, not heavy, but like more scummy, not your big lily pads with the openings everywhere. You know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the guys that I've seen catching a lot of frogfish here this year, especially a guy who slayed them last weekend in one of the final championships in the state, was like one of the rubber flappy frogs, and he was fishing it kind of like a buzz bait over what living grass was left and over some of the dying grass. And I mean, he slaughtered the field. That was all he threw all day, and he murdered everybody.
It's a good point too. Yeah.
I'd rather throw this anyways. This is like the flipping stick. Like I will find any excuse to bust out the flipping stick. Oh, frog bite sucks. Flipping time.
That's a good point. Yeah, punch. That's a good point. Like Ben was saying, like I don't punch a lot. I'll be honest. I like my punching game sucks. Like I flip and pitch, but I'm talking like up to a half ounce. But if you're hardcore punching like an ounce and a half, not my deal. And a lot of guys just go to that. And Brendan, maybe you could weigh in on this. Ben said, I want to try punching with some larger profile swim baits. Maybe that's what you were talking about with the Citizen type deal.
Yeah, these guys, you can throw a punch weight on the front of them, put your hook on there, unweighted beast hook, screw lock, put that punch weight on your line. You just send that sucker right through the grass.
What size? Like a 7? Like a 7/0?
This one has a 6/0. This is the 6-inch. The 7-inch ones take a 10/0
Is that the
So
6-inch
unweighted
quarter
beast
ounce
hook.
owner beast 6
10/0.
quarter ounce?
Yeah, you do
You're
not-
gonna
you
flip
do
with
not-
a 10/0. You're gonna flip with a 10/0 belly hook.
Yeah, unweighted.
Oh no,
Unweighted. But the weight
okay, that's
goes
what you
on
were
the
saying before is no, gotcha.
Yeah.
So a
That's
6-aught
if you're-
unweighted belly
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
non-belly
But
weighted.
the beast hooks are just the big hooks. with the screw
Yeah.
lock. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you guys all get together and take the same German language class? Because I thought you guys were just speaking German right then. No idea.
Dizzle, you know what a belly weighted hook is? Come on.
You guys want to see the magic trick on this rod? Do you guys have any ferruled rods?
Oh yeah.
I love these ferruled rods now.
Is that the Megavast Destroyer?
Here's some
Huh.
2 pieces.
Yeah,
See,
it's
there's
those-
your
Like the ones that
problem
break
right
in the
there.
middle.
this
Yeah,
is
there's
the,
your problem with the rod. Why it's not working? It's broke, dummy. The
It's
hell?
the Jungle 7.
Ah, that's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. So do you notice because that's and maybe
Makes a
it's
fun noise when you
changed.
pop it out. It makes a little.
Yeah, like the ferrule spigot or whatever they call it. It's like a
Yeah.
plumber's deal. Do you notice a difference in sensitivity to having that 2-piece versus not?
No, there's no sensitivity. It's the biggest misnomer in the world that multi-piece rods are
Gramps,
less
I think you're
sensitive.
muted.
And utter bullshit.
Yeah, I was. My daughter and my wife came in.
Oh, okay.
I wish more companies made multi-piece rods. There's nothing wrong with it. No
I
one
agree.
will know a damn difference. I don't know why there's a stigma with multi-piece rods. It makes no sense.
See, and I
It's because they use the
disagree.
Walmart
Like I've
ones
had
that pop
2-piece
off,
spinning rods.
You know,
Yeah, I don't want one more thing that can pop off in the middle like a spinning rod.
Have
These
you
two back
have
in the
you
day.
but have you ever had like so in Japan most rods are multi-piece, like almost all of them are, and like
Wow.
even the Shimano X Prides are like a US Shimano X Pride is a 2-piece rod. They just glue it together. A lot of people don't know that.
I had no
So-
idea about that.
'Cause when you buy
Oh
an X
my
Pride from
goodness.
Japan, they're ferruled. You can pop them off. But the US market, they know people don't like that, so they fuse it.
Yeah, they won't
We're
tell
so
you.
weird. We are so weird.
Hey,
Yeah, I
let's just pause the fused rod conversation for one quick second. 202 people watching. Thank you guys. Only
Rich just brought that up, yeah.
137 thumbs up. Let's
Give a thumbs up.
let's-
It's free.
Smash the like.
Helps people
there-
out.
It's okay.
What did
We can be so weird, but
McConaughey
everybody
say in that
comes
one
to
movie?
this
Those are
place
rookie
to
numbers.
fish.
If you like fishing, give us a thumbs up. Doesn't matter if we're
There you
talking about
go.
OCD tackle storage or 2-piece ferrule spigot rods or
Ooh.
Brendan
Hey,
finally.
how
hitting
do you guys
puberty in a
keep
couple
your
years, like,
how do you guys
just give
keep
us a
your
thumbs
fishing
up.
license? Do you get like the little laminate?
And hold on, I
Um,
just lost 17,000 subscribers from that, Dizzle. Thanks
do,
for
you, do,
mentioning
you,
that.
do you get the little laminate thing or honestly the
I wear it
fun
around my
thing
neck
is-
in a lanyard whenever I
Ooh,
go out.
nice.
That is
Iowa
a funny
actually
thing.
had like a little plastic credit card this
That's what I was
year.
gonna
Look
say.
at that.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get donate extra, and they
Awesome.
give you a plastic card, and the extra goes to. I always give the
I
extra as
remember-
much as I can give to Iowa for DNR.
I'm
so.
such an old man. I remember back in the day when I first got my very first trout stamp to go trout fishing, they literally gave you a trout stamp with your
Stamp.
fishing license.
Oh, I gotta. Since we're talking old school, like how you used to, because you used to have to keep your paper fishing license in your tackle box.
Mhm.
Do any of you guys store terminal like in medicine bottles, medication
done that
bottles?
before.
Oh, here we go
do
again.
it. I still do it.
Medicine bottles, little
Medicine
plastic
bottles and
baggies,
baggies
street
and-
corners.
I use the little medication bottles
Gram
for all of my
scales.
swivels, beads,
Yep.
and snaps.
Split rings, yeah, split rings would be a good thing to put those into. That's a good point.
I still use those stupid things and I love them
Yeah.
because they fit in the boxes. They fit anywhere. You just pop it off. You just shake it out. Get all your, I just love it. I don't know. It's something I've done since I was a kid. I still do it.
Punch has a whole new level of slang I've never even heard of. Punch, swivels and snaps. I don't want
Punch is like, hey, you ever have those old Barbasol cans you sell on Jurassic Park? where you can hide
You
your
never
goods?
know
I
when
mean,
you need. You never know when you're
stickers
going to
or-
need a little split shot. You got to have. Some
Oh my god.
Well, but you got to think about it too. When you're fishing from a boat or even a kayak, Carolina rig is still something that's common. Even though more
Carolina
bank
rig all-
anglers need to be throwing Carolina rigs because it's literally a built-in depth finder, and a lot of people don't realize that you can feel a lot with the sea rig and learn a lot about the terrain that's in front of you if you don't study the Google Earth.
yeah,
Gramps,
finding hard
um,
spots, finding rock, finding wood.
Yep.
Is the Carolina rig will tell you everything that's down on the bottom. Yeah.
Gramps, I've never fished a Carolina rig before in my entire life.
I know.
I'll die on that hill that
Oh,
an
gosh.
unpegged Texas rig is just as good as a Carolina.
No, it's
Better.
not.
I
I'll
disagree.
not.
I'll die on the
disagree,
same
Debo.
hill that an unpegged Texas rig is better than a Carolina rig for bank fishing.
If you guys have never
Young
felt the
spots.
experience of chucking a big worm on a Carolina rig,
I felt
bombing,
it.
no, listen, let me finish. Bombing it out on like a 3/4 ounce weight, dropping it down to like 20 feet, hitting that one little rock that you know there's probably some fish on, and you feel the little pull, like a little
From the bank,
and then
you
you
mean?
go like this. You go like this.
Hold on, Punch. From the bank, you mean doing that?
Anywhere. It's fun.
Oh, no. From your boat is what you're talking about. I can tell
Yeah,
by
from
the
the
way you're
boat.
swinging. From your boat.
From the boat.
I'll die on that hill that bank fishing. I've had people argue it. Well, maybe we need to have a Carolina rig versus T rig showdown. I don't know.
No, I will say I use a T rig way more, but there's a lot of
Yep.
situations where nothing is gonna you're not gonna have more fun than with a Carolina rig in certain like shell beds, gravel, sand, sparse coontail. So we have a lot of coontail in Minnesota where like the grass goes up and flares out, but the down underneath with the stalks is pretty open, and that's really great for dragging a Carolina rig through. And so, like, you're fishing these offshore coontail spots, you're letting that Carolina rig get down there, and you're dragging it through the stalks, and that's where some of the largemouth hang out down right at the bottom there. And that, like, the Carolina rig is like the easiest way to get that bait to just go right in front of them. And you can rig it totally weedless, like it doesn't grab that much grass. Like Carolina rigs come through cover really well.
Yep, they are really, really good. I've just found for a bank angler, which is
For a
interesting
bank
that I
angler, it
find
would definitely.
Yeah. people saying
Gene
that. It's
Jensen.
like,
Just stick to wacky worms. You bank anglers.
stick to, yes, a Cinco.
Yeah, you don't want to touch
Maynard.
the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah, throw a
Maynard.
wacky worm, a frog, and
Or in
Yeah.
Debo's
Twin
case,
jig.
you could
Like
drag a drop shot, which would be like an inverted sea rig.
That sounds like a great idea. I'd never thought of a funner way to fish than throwing 4-pound line and a weight and a little hook, and that sounds so much fun. Because when you snag
You
it, then
just need a power shot.
yeah,
it's
you
gotta
can
use
break it
heavier
all off
line.
and then tie your leader. God,
so some of the more popular smallmouth lakes in northwest Wisconsin, they see a lot of Ned rigs now and a lot of drop shots. They still bite it, but when you throw that Carolina rig in front of them in the summer, they bite it. Like it's like no one else is throwing it usually when you go out to the lake.
It's
Like,
got
everyone
such a
else-
more natural presentation. Yeah, because you've got the weight up and the plastic, especially have a semi buoyant plastic. It's doing its whole own thing back there behind the weight.
Yep.
Whereas like a peg Texas rig or an unpegged doesn't matter. Weight goes down and the plastic follows it, and then it does its thing kind of down here, right? And that's kind of the differentiation between the free rig, which does have a little bit of that separation. And like Bayou Burner said, if y'all remember the Mojo rig, which is kind of what I threw back in the day. Yeah, split shot rig, exactly. Punch is kind of a poor man's Carolina rig.
Totally.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Like a free rig with like a Z-Man Boar Hogs or Mag Fatty Z. You just pause it and then give it back some line and let that rise a little bit. So if you got a lot of junk on the bottom, it's kind of cool just to let that, you give it
Sit up
some line
out of
back
that.
so it starts to rise a bit. And
I
you
use the free rig a lot for forward facing for picking off fish on the active target.
Yeah.
So like if you're a forward facing sonar person, a lot of people throw the drop shot at the dots. Like they see the dots, they throw the drop shot. I like the free rig because the free rig is heavy and you can like get that right on that fish's head. Like, you know what I mean? It just gives you really great accuracy of like, I know they're there. I want to drop when it hits the water. I want it to go right down to where that is.
Yep.
The free rig is awesome for that.
Yeah, Cooler Lid, you nailed it. Yeah, punching those guys throwing a sea rig out there, catch the big ones in open water. I'll stick to the bank, throwing whatever the hell I'm talking about, catching dinks. We know that's the way it goes. It's okay.
I did enjoy the old timer that just tried to come and hornswoggle me today as I'm catching.
Hornswoggle?
Yeah, coming.
That's a great word.
As
I haven't
he
heard that
sees
word
me
in a while.
catching fish, he just like zooms over in his boat, and he's just like casting right around me. And
That
then-
rapscallion hornswoggled you.
Yeah, his boat sounded like it was gonna fall apart when he pulled off too. I was like, I got scared.
Later, nerd.
35
What do we
million.
got? Do we have any closing thoughts? For we're almost at 2 hours. I appreciate the hell out of and everybody. I did a really bad job at introducing people, but Punch, we'll go in order here. Punch, Brendan, and Gramps, real quick. For anybody that doesn't know you guys, Punch, where are you at? Where can they find you?
We all have to like look at them too. Like,
Yeah, look at
turn our heads to look at them.
Yeah, I know. I'm mostly on Instagram. I post a lot of my stuff on Instagram now, but yeah, Instagram, YouTube, basically. Yeah.
Cool.
At Punch Fishing. I'm just up in Minnesota. I fish a lot around the Twin Cities, northern Minnesota, but I also fish a lot in northwest Wisconsin. So I I have like a base camp. I have a camper out, so I'm like, I do a lot of smallmouth. I love walleye fishing. I never get to talk walleye fishing because no one talks walleye fishing in the bass world.
Delicious fishing.
I love walleye fishing. I like
Cranky
crappie fishing. I secretly am a bass fisherman who really likes catching walleyes, but no one ever wants
trolling walleyes with those stupid troll rigs with the little spinner things and the stupid
Planer
minnow on it. Dumb as hell. If Dad's still watching,
you know what? Out in Wisconsin, you can have 3 lures out per person on the boat. So you get
75 out, and I still want no part of that.
You get. I'll be fishing the rock
fishing
point.
license trivia.
I'll be fishing the rock point, and I'll see a big old deep V Ranger with like 8 flags falling behind it, and I just go, okay, I gotta wait till these guys pass through because they're dragging like 9 crankbaits out over my rocks.
Brendan, how about you up there? Sorry, we haven't got you involved a bunch. You've been kind of
I don't care.
the quiet horseman here.
Taking in the
We've got you here for the good looks. He might be the young buck of the group, but he's definitely the best looking out of all.
He is the young buck.
I'm not.
You handsome feller up there. Tell us about you. Where can we find some BBC? That's Brown Baitco for those of you that don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Don't Google that.
You can find me on Instagram.
Yeah,
don't Google that. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube.
On OnlyFans.
Both the same thing. But just Brown Baitco on both of them.
And yeah,
Brendan's
thing is,
but I don't do anything on Facebook, so
we give him a lot of crap, but he has a ton of cool. He's awesome bait maker coming. And I joke about him being 12 and only hitting puberty, but you're what?
I'm 12 and a half. Come on now.
Are you 18?
18. Yeah.
18. He's an 18-year-old. I mean, I want to say kid, but I mean, I'm almost twice the age as him now, making crankbaits, doing awesome stuff. So I give you crap, dude, but I really do tip my hat to you that at 18, I couldn't even think of making or painting a crankbait. I was out partying way too much in college my first year.
When I was 18, I was watching In Fisherman VHS tapes to try and learn something.
Ooh.
Babe Winkleman with his hairy chest and gold chain.
Ooh, the gold chain.
Not Babe Winkleman. I was a student of the Linders.
I was going to say you're a Linder. I bet you're a Linder.
I'm Team Linders. But my point is, when I was that age, it was a desert finding new information and all that stuff. I wish, Brendan, you're like light years ahead of.
Saturday mornings watching Hank and Bill Dance, and you can just go to YouTube and check any of this stuff. And Gramps down there, Gramps, tell us about you and your stuff coming up. I know you got some fun stuff coming up too. There's been a bunch of knuckleheads in here.
Gramps giving away a zillion, awesome.
Yeah. Also, Gramps will be giving away a zillion when I have him back on for the kayak
on my stream.
Yeah.
What are you doing next week? Sorry, Brendan, real quick. What are you doing?
No, Gramps.
So we're heading. I'll be heading down to Gunnersville for the KBF Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series. It's a whole bunch of different YouTubers and their teams. Creek Fishing Adventures. Brendan's actually going to be staying in the house that I've got. We're going to have you're going to see a whole host of people who are in the stream that are going to be down there. But you can find me at Hickman Outdoors on YouTube now. All of you know me as Fishing with Gramps for the last several years, but I have brought my brother on board, and we're going to be creating content together. So it's now Hickman Outdoors. Find me JT Hickman on Instagram.
Are they this knucklehead thing? Is there any way that is it all going to get posted at some point in time over a period
this sounds
of time?
Fun as hell.
Is it live? Is it what's gonna?
I mean, between Chad Hoover, Gene Jensen, me, the Burley guys, Creek Fishing Adventures. There's so many YouTubers there. Everybody's going to be running cameras.
So individual videos and things like that. There's no like live streamings or anything like that. Okay.
I'm sure we'll be doing some live streams from my house. I've got me, Liz, Brendan, Jeremy's there. One of my local buddies is on my team for Team Gramps. Alex Sterling, who's Solidus he streams on Twitch. So you're going to have a mix of a lot of people are going to be, I'm sure, shooting videos. A lot of the people in the chat are going to be, Cairo's going to be down there with her husband. There's going to be a lot of us, but the whole point of the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series is to get bank anglers into kayaks, or mix. And then, we kind of teach them how to do things. And then it's really just to help more people get out and get fishing too. Because, there's a lot of us. And I have a boat too. So, I mean, I fish from the boat here and there. You just don't see it very much, but that's more for my kids and the grandkids and family stuff. So pretty much everything we do for the most part.
Sorry, this tournament is five people, one fish per. and you all weigh in, right?
It's called the Heroes Cup, and it's going to be on Veterans Day.
Heroes
and
Cup.
each captain. So yeah, the premise is this is grown out of the KBF Fish Ops program, which is Fish Operation Prevent Suicide. And so that's part of, if you hear us talking about Catch 22, that's a piece of that as well. But the Hero Cup pays out $10,000 for first place, but it goes to the team members. Since I'm a captain, if my team were to win it, that $10,000 is split between the 4 anglers, and I get the trophy. So that's the whole goal,
Nice.
is to is to beat Chad, beat Gene on their home waters, but realistically, it's going to be one big boondoggle, a big gathering of all of our fans and subscribers, followers, our true fishing fam, and it's just a way to get us all together too. So that's really what the premise is about. So, if we can get you two into kayaks next year, we can have a team Dizzle and a team Debo,
There you go.
and come
So
on down and
I
have a good
want no
time
part of
too.
that. I know
They would have to
nothing
be
about
physically
it.
there, not they couldn't do it online.
Yeah, this is an on location in Huntsville, Alabama, on Gunnersville and Wheeler.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
But
we
you
got-
talk about it's
that's
gonna be
amazing.
a huge gathering of a lot of folks.
Do you have a link? Real quick, I do want to call out, who was it? Jared, $10 bomb, said money to put in the curse jar. I
Nice
cursed.
job.
There was a few curses tonight. It's okay. Iowa won. It was
Tonight was a
good
grown
night.
up stream. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brandon.
Sorry. Earmuffs.
Brendan, earmuffs.
Everybody else.
I got a
Earmuffs.
He's
question,
over.
though.
He's
I wanna-
18 now, so we're good.
Yeah,
So
we're
with
good.
Brendan,
Yeah, he's
with
good.
Brendan's cool bait wall behind him, what's the most interesting or coolest swim bait that's on your wall behind you right now that you could poke
Ooh.
out? Like what's if you had to grab one if your house is on fire, what are you grabbing?
It's $113,000, and it's this one right over here, and it weighs 14 pounds.
I want to know which is this baby. Okay,
This
explain why.
Best glide bait I've ever used. This thing, you can glide it super far. You can also glide it really tight. But the best thing is you can feel which way it's going. You can feel if it's turning left or right. Super hard hitting. This bait has caught up to fish up to 17 pounds. It's an incredible bait. The
By
workhorse.
you?
No, not by me. Not by me.
Oh my god! I was
No,
like,
no, wait. Show
what?
us that again. What is it made of? How big?
What's
how
the
heavy
bait too?
Resin.
What is it?
316 workhorse. I've got 5 of them. This is my favorite bait of all time, but it's made out of resin. These are the best glide bait on the market that I've seen in their size.
Are they
It's incredible.
obtainable, or do you have to like catch a drop once every 6 months?
No. I mean, you just look on their website, or you can just go and go on Swim Bait Universe or Swim It Underground.
Because I don't want to pay some guy $700 when his retail was $80.
Retail's like 300, so I mean they're a
Oh,
little.
never mind.
But I have the double one, which is 500 too. But
Wait, that was the 6-inch.
this is the workhorse, the 316 workhorse. Yeah,
316 workhorse. How big is it?
it's like 7.5 inches, somewhere around there. It's like the perfect size. It's like the size to get.
Oh, they take 3 of them.
Honestly, yeah. You
I
just
got
gotta
mad
kinda
when I
get in
broke off a
whenever it gets in.
jackhammer the other day.
I actually lost one of these this year. It was painful.
Oh my!
Yeah, it was my favorite one too. I'd caught like a bunch of 8-pounders on it, and I was just like, oh.
That'd be the same as like if I get a kayak, it'll be the same as me taking a kayak and just pushing out in the water and like sinking it with cinder blocks.
What-
And be
Yeah,
like, oh, lost my 316 Brendan bait. So,
What's your rod and reel
Just
setup?
remember,
What's your rod and
just
reel
remember,
setup?
Dizzle, when you lose a jackhammer, it was lost when you tied it on. That's why you carry more.
fish
Yep.
it like you lost it, Dizzle.
Touche.
Yeah, but you know better. It's the way you fish
Touche.
jigs.
Yep.
exactly.
Oh,
If
man.
you're trying to be careful with it, you're not going to catch fish on it. So fish it the way it was meant to be fished, and don't throw it in
Debo,
trees.
I was.
It's like your truck,
Devo, I
Dizzle.
was thinking
Use your
that-
truck what it's for. Don't baby that SOB.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
I know, that's what I mean.
That the lake that's getting drained. I was
Yep.
thinking today, man, if I could come back here when they drain that, I could easily get over 100 War Eagle finesse
Jigs that
jigs
you
out of
lost.
that damn lake.
Now they would all
This
be
isn't the
rusted
Jay.
hooks.
This isn't the lake that Cole and Jay fish on that's getting drained, is it?
Oh man, there's
I
a
don't know who that is. Are they in
There's
Iowa?
Okay.
there's a specific stretch of river that we wade when we go wading and we fish, and we know where there's a specific tree on this specific spot on the river. And
It's the 10
we
pounder
always-
that everybody loses their bait
no,
on?
no. My point is, I'm sure that tree is full of really good jerk baits because I've seen so many people twitch get stuck on that tree. I'm like going, if someone can recover that tree, there's probably hundreds of dollars of jerk baits.
The
stuck
tree's
to that.
gonna like float
wonder.
up off
I
the
wonder
bottom, so
when
with all the
somebody's going to
buoyancy.
invent like a jerkbait or crankbait trap that they drop in the water, and then about
Mm.
once every month they go and they pull it up and get all the
So-
stuff and then put it back down there.
Funny enough, have you seen the river guys doing that? Like it's like a cast net type thing that they put in some of these spots on the river where people break off, like where stuff's already there, and they bring in these nets. Like shady people. Like
That-
what the
that
F?
lame.
Come on. Like
That wouldn't
they're-
surprise me.
They're like actually sinking snag spots where people like always fish and they snag all their stuff and then every week or whatever pull it out and it's like, oh look, I got 700 baits.
Yeah,
That's
Come on,
my new glide
these-
bait.
crazy.
Punch,
right.
Punch is getting a second business
Punch
idea
does that.
going
Yeah,
here.
Punch is like, not only could I have baggies, I could also have a sweet
Yeah.
sunken.
Yeah,
gibbet.
I want
Another
everybody's
piece of
KVD
baggies.
1.5s that they got at Dick's.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
want a whole bunch of those out of the lake. Yeah.
I was very nervous throwing the Vision 110 Junior Micro Mini, whatever the hell it is, smaller version today.
110 Junior, yeah.
'cause it's
Just because I don't know, it's so weird, fishing all these different lakes, like Debo said earlier, that are like 5 foot down. I don't know where I'm casting what is now out there. I'm just like,
it's the risk
Yeah,
you got
it's
to take.
See,
Dizzle.
and to be fair to Caro's point, that's why I haven't thrown Brendan's bait much or the crankbaits that Debo sent me because I don't want to lose them.
Hey, throw those babies. Mine are just regular old cranks. Throw them, Gramps. Get
I'm
'em
not
snagged.
Yeah.
precious about any baits. I just tie it on and go. Whatever happens, happens.
Gramps, you
Yeah,
gotta
we'll
throw
have-
it or else I'm taking it back.
I know, I will.
I'm stealing it back from you.
Multiple people
I will,
asking
I promise.
questions about the yaks and stuff. I'll have to get a yak crew together of knowable yak folks that I've had on before. Somebody
And this
said
is a
Mikey
good-
Ball's
this-
got a yak too.
In about a
That's
month,
good
it'd be a good time to do that because
Can
that's
I-
when all the new ones
I
were
got
going
a
to get in the
question.
market.
Why is none of
Yeah.
the yak YouTubers called a channel Yakking Off yet? Yakking Off. That's the best name for a kayak fishing channel, and no one's done it.
Yakov Smirnov.
Yakking Off.
Because
Yeah,
I was
gosh,
going to do,
yeah.
I was going to do,
Putting that out to
You
the
know,
world. Someone can use that.
I was going to do two brothers yakking for our fishing podcast. But,
You will get a lot of traffic that will come one time.
Instant band.
You'll realize that this is
Ugh.
not what I was hoping.
How come any
This
of my
week
lives that
on
we
Two
put-
Brothers Yak, and we welcome BBC.
we welcome saltine crackers. Yeah, that'll
All
be a
right,
good
that's a
one.
mic drop. That's a mic drop
Anyway.
moment right there.
Oof. Okay, on that
So,
note, listen,
you
we're getting out of
we
here.
thought about it, but it just couldn't be done. Because, two brothers yakking with Punch.
No, I set that
Like
up
an
and
old-time
and
black and
Dizzle
white
knocked it
film.
down.
as we head off the side of
Oh,
the stage
yeah.
here. Listen, we're getting out of here. On that note,
Giant hook
we're
comes
gonna
in.
get out of here. Let me hide this. Give Punch Brian up there, Punch a follow. Brendan Brown Bait Co. a follow. Gramps Hickman Outdoors. We'll have some more folks on. Of course, Dizzle. I didn't link him down below, but it's like Dizzle's fishing. Don't look up Darcizzle fishing. Basically, they have the exact same body type, but just a little
Pretty
different.
much, yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much. But anyway, we're out of here. We'll be back again next Saturday. Who knows what the hell we'll be talking about? But I appreciate all you guys joining. Everybody that watched and stayed 2 hours with us. You all are the real champs. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Until next weekend.
See you guys.